So as far as the third world aristocrat video from today goes, I gotta say, huge win for the toe and a stroke of genius on my part.
Mr. Radio Voice, he's doing his shows. He's roasting some ass and he's picking his nose. He speaks like a pro on the Steel Toe Show. He's making a mess and everyone knows. Ready or not, he already came. April is a hoe and she's snorting for fame. Another win for the toe. Win for the toe. He spilled the beans. He's rooting for rage as he gets her thrice. Another win for the toe. Win for the toe. He had a felony charge, but he's gonna walk. He's got a big mouth and he talks the talk. Another win for the toe. Win for the toe. He's always a guest with Alex Stein. He's making a wish. He's taking his time. Another win for the toe. Win for the toe. Oh, hip hop dippity dap to the wop 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 wop. Hong dong whittle dangle wang. Oh, he sang dooley mama splatting your hat. Doo to poot cakes.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Steel Toe Evening Show. It's nighttime. It's evening time. Not quite nighttime. It's evening time. And that means it's time for the Wednesday final Steel Toe Evening Show of the week. And the week is back to perfect. We appreciate everybody who's been amazing. Thank you for your patience. Hey, we got our Rumble Creator Program numbers this afternoon. We're going to be knocking $100 off of each goal the next couple of days. Thank you so much. So tonight, we're looking at 70. I'm going to ban any donations over $5 tonight. I'm banning them. I can't, I guess I can't, but I'm banning you. I'm ordering you. Nothing over $5 tonight. We're going to knock out this 70 in a couple of hours. $5 and fewer at a time. That's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to have a little fun. And then tomorrow morning, we're going to start at 2:30. That's right. The wonderful 2:30. The evening show audience is always looking for ways to cause trouble. And one of the ways they're always looking to cause trouble is they go, hey, what'll you give us if what'll it take for you to cancel the morning show tomorrow and do a 4-hour afternoon into evening show? And usually I say, look, if you guys knock out tonight's goal and tomorrow's, we'll cancel the morning show and we'll start at 2 o'clock and we'll go for 4 hours. I don't think I should offer that today. I don't think it's right. And I don't want to do a 4-hour afternoon show tomorrow. So take it easy, rest, relax. We've got a lot of great stuff going on today. I see Pool Scam Sam is already into his fan fiction. I love the guy. I never thought that my happiness and enjoying everything would upset so many people, but it does. Or upset them or get them riled up. I won't say upset them, but it gets them riled up. And then they get riled up when you say they're riled up. No, I'm not riled up. It's because you. I know it's because me. Why? We're getting circular here, boys. Miss Tay with $2 says, here's $1. Now get back on that pole and dance. Yeah, but don't you want to hear about the problems between my dad and I and how I'm saving up for college? I guess not. Oh, for just when you think they're going to treat you like a person. I tell you, great day today, beautiful day in lovely Minnesota. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I had a moment today. I'm kind of losing my voice a little bit. I was in the car driving back from my daughter's big school event she had today. More on that in a moment. But as I was driving back, I had the music going. I had it on shuffle, and I'm singing. You know, I'm belting out a tune. And SP called on my way back. And as she called, the music cut out, and I heard myself singing. Like the music is gone, and now it's just you and your lost voice, and you can hear your voice bouncing off the doors of the car and hitting you back in the ears. Oh boy. That was not an enjoyable experience whatsoever. It was bad news. It's not good. It sounded bad. It sounded so bad, as a matter of fact, that for the first minute and a half of our phone call, I was explaining to her the mental state I was in from being so shit at singing when she called. But I had a great day today. I went to, I got to. You remember yesterday I had to make a special trip to bring my daughter a microphone and a couple of, she had a pair of pink socks that she needed for this thing she was doing today. She said, I need it for my wax museum thing we're doing for school that you're coming to tomorrow. I said, okay, I don't know why you'd need socks and a microphone for a wax. See, I thought they were like working with wax. It's like the second to the last day of the year today. So I thought they were like working with wax, and for the end of the year, they do this thing where they made a bust of a certain celebrity, and then that was their wax sculpture, and they put them on display. No. That's not what they're doing. They were the wax sculptures. So basically what you had was they had the kids in her grade all pick like a famous person from history or now or whenever, entertainment, politics, industry, doesn't matter. And they would sit there dressed up as that person, silent, staring. It was creepy. So she's sitting there staring. I don't understand why. And my ex-wife goes, no, you have to push the button. And then I said, oh, I'm a dumb guy. So then I push the button once, and she does her little speech. And she was Weird Al Yankovic because she's the coolest kid in the world. And she gives this little quick like Wikipedia bio on Weird Al Yankovic. But I didn't film it. So being the funniest dad in the world, I didn't break eye contact. I looked at her, and I pushed the button again. And she rolls her eyes. She goes, I'm Weird Al Yankovic. I was born, blah, 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 blah. You might know me from my songs. If you want to know more, see the board behind you. And they make a big trifold poster board. I went to push it again, and I was stopped from pushing the button the third time. So I was nearly kicked out of a child's wax museum presentation because I thought it would be funny to hit the button 3 times in a row. That's like embarrassing dad shit that you do. But man, they picked some weird people. I was in there and I'm looking around. I didn't go walking around to each one of them. And luckily my dad was there. Both my parents are retired, so they can make it to all this stuff too. My dad was there and we're looking around, and one kid is Helen Keller. And my dad looks at me and goes, you see that kid over there is Helen Keller? I'm like, yeah, that's a little weird. Like, how do they? And he's like, how are they, if they're Helen Keller, how are they supposed to know when you hit the button? I'm like, yeah, and how are they supposed to tell you who they are? And I told my dad, I'm like, funniest thing you could possibly see a 5th grader do is you push the Helen Keller button and the Helen Keller person goes, it would have been the greatest, shittiest, meanest thing. And like, Helen Keller's dead. She doesn't give a shit. But how great would that have been? Unfortunately, no luck. That kid was not a method actor. They just read out their Helen Keller thing. But bro, there was like a Joe DiMaggio and a Bobby Orr. And I'm sitting there going like, you kids are too young to know who these people are or to be interested in them. There was a Babe Ruth. There was a, one of the Dodge brothers. Is it John something Dodge? One of the guys who invented Dodge, the vehicles. Was it John Christopher Dodge? Who were the Dodge brothers? John Francis. Yeah, one of them was John Francis Dodge. Who the fuck is John Francis? Like, why? I don't know. Maybe fifth graders, maybe some of them are like budding gearheads and they like Dodge. That's their favorite kind of truck. I don't know. But I was telling my dad, I was like, you know who would be a rad one to pick is John DeLorean. Do you know the John DeLorean story? Oh, my God. So John DeLorean was like the wunderkind at GM. I think he made was it the Pontiac Sunfire? He made some kind of sports car for Pontiac, and then he made a couple, I think the Corvette, Camaro, one of the two, and he was like a legendary designer of vehicles. So he took his talents to make the most high-end car of its day in the early 1980s, the DeLorean, named the fucker after himself, the AMC DeLorean. And this was going to be a vehicle that I think was like, even in $1980, it was like $100,000. It was made out of stainless steel. Everybody's seen Back to the Future, right? What some people don't know is how John DeLorean acquired the funding to get the money to build the DeLorean and keep the company and keep the brand afloat. A little something called drug trafficking. He was caught. He was imprisoned. And I want to say that DeLorean died in prison. He died in 2005. Did DeLorean. So he founded the DeLorean Motor Company, got into the drug trafficking. Federal agents come in, they arrest him. That's the end of that. But unfortunately, nobody wanted to be DeLorean. MSO says no Hulk Hogan. I know, dude, I was just as disappointed as anyone else. There were no Hulk Hogans. And I also thought, I'm like, 11-year-old kids, there's got to be a John Cena in there, right? No John Cenas. There was like a Jane Goodall. There was like one girl was dressed up as like a suffrage era woman. And I looked at my dad and I'm like, I'm going to sound like a, typical white privileged male, but who the fuck is that lady? Is that like some kind of suffragette or something? He had no idea. I said, you know what's a bad lady to be? If you want to be somebody, Carrie Nations. You guys know about Carrie Nations? Oh, that bitch was bad. She's one of my favorite women in history. So back before Prohibition, women were basically at the mercy of their guys going into town, getting hammered. Let me see if I can get you a quick Carrie Nations video. Like a quick, 4 or 5. Here's a 6-minute thing. Here. So Carrie Nations was fucking insane. But she was a creature of her time. So the guys would all go and they would get hammered at the bar. They'd come back. They'd hit their wives. I mean, America was all agricultural back then. So they'd leave the farm, take whatever money the family made, blew it all on booze, came home, smacking around the wives. It was a terrible thing. So Carrie Nation was this older broad. And by old, she looks old as shit, but I'm sure back in those days she was like 40. And she would bring a fucking tomahawk, like Benjamin Martin in The Patriot. She would bring a tomahawk to the bars and just start smashing shit and swinging them at dudes. Like, fucking respect, dude. This is a quick video.
Before Prohibition, one woman took it upon herself to rid America of alcohol. But instead of trying to change laws, she tried to destroy each and every bottle of liquor she saw with a hatchet. That woman's name was Carrie A. Nation. Born in Kentucky in 1846, the strange spelling of her name, C-A-R-R-Y, instead of the conventional C-A-R-R-I-E.
Holy shit, you learn something new every day. I thought Carrie Nation spelled it that way. I'm an asshole.
Was the result of an error her father made while he recorded her birth in the family Bible.
So her dad was probably drunk and spelled her name like an idiot, and it led to years of bullying. So she's like, I'm going to fucking cut guys who are drinking.
Later in life, she would consider that error to be prophetic when her second marriage resulted in her name being Carrie A. Nation, as she attempted to carry A. Nation to safety from the dangers of that sinful slough known as alcohol. She wasn't born hating alcohol, but the circumstances of her life caused her beverage-based rage to reach a boiling point. When she was 19, she got her first kiss from a handsome young doctor named Charles Gloyd.
Ooh. Charles Gloyd giving old Carrie a smooch. Let me guess, he smelled like booze and she cut his head off.
Surely a dream scenario for any young woman. In any event, it was love at first kiss, and the couple promptly married and had a baby on the way. However, unfortunately for Carrie, it wasn't the dream scenario she thought it was. Despite being handsome, charming, and a doctor, Charles was also a hopeless alcoholic.
Yep.
Within 2 years of their marriage, Charles drank himself to death. Carrie remarried in 1874, but needless to say, the loss of her first husband to alcohol made a lasting impression on her. Carrie's new husband's name was David Nation, so now her name officially was Carrie A. Nation. They settled in Medicine Lodge, Kansas.
Had to carry the nation because it was so goddamn drunk and disorderly.
Which is the name of a town, in 1889. Kansas had been dry, meaning alcohol was illegal, since 1880, but of course, there was booze all over the place, even though it was illegal, in taverns, restaurants, and drugstores where alcohol was sold as medicine. She was the head of the local chapter of the Women's Christian Temperance Union.
Yeah, I need my medicinal whiskey. Oh, what's your condition? My wife chases me around the house with a fucking hatchet all day.
Carrie first tried to bring about change and end the scourge of illegal alcohol with peaceful protests.
Look at this. Lips that touch liquor shall not touch ours. Okay. Another round, garçon. Wait a minute. You mean I don't get to smooch this little demon? You mean this pretty little devil? If I have a sip of whiskey, I don't get to court her? Oh, you drive a hard bargain there, ladies.
Nothing changed, and no action was taken. Then, in 1900, Carrie A. Nation claimed to have a dream that showed her what she must do next. In the dream,
Fuck dudes up with a hatchet. I like that dream. I like that she has a dream where she's just cutting people to pieces with a hatchet for drinking, and she doesn't wake up like, oh my God. She wakes up and she goes, yeah, that's what I gotta do.
a voice told her to, quote, go to Kiowa and start smashing.
Nice.
The voice of God or a psychotic break, we'll never know.
Nah, not a psychotic break. Come on. First husband drank himself to death. Everyone else just getting fucked up all the time on cough medicine. Just, she was pushed too far. She was the killdozer of her day.
But go to Kiowa and start smashing is exactly what Carrie A. Nation did. The next morning, as she cheerfully prepared breakfast for her husband as she did every morning, she also kept stepping outside to collect rocks and loose chunks of brick in her apron. That afternoon, after David had headed off to work, Carrie hitched a horse to her buggy, loaded that bad boy up with all the rocks and bricks she could find, and set off for the nearby town of Kiowa. Her first stop was an establishment called the Refreshment Stand, owned by a man named John Dobson. When Dobson confronted Carrie, she calmly said to him, "Get out of the way. I do not want to strike you, but I am going to break this place up." Then, using the rocks and bricks she had collected earlier in the morning, she did in fact break the place up. She aimed at and shattered a large mirror, glasses, alcohol bottles, and bar fixtures, all while singing hymns, of course.
Nice. So she's a "We shall overcome." She's got a fucking brick. The Minneapolis George Floyd protesters could have learned something from her. Put a little music with your protest. You guys seem so angry. You're wearing masks and everything. Take a fucking brick and just start singing.
After she had smashed everything to her liking,
And the sinners plunged into the flood, lose all their guilty stains. Just smashing the place to shit.
Carrie again approached John Dobson, who at this point was cowering in the back room, and
Like
she
a
proclaimed,
bitch.
"Mr. Dobson, I have finished. God be with you." Then she left
That's
and
nice, I mean, you might not agree with her methods, smashing the place up, breaking all his merchandise, but she left him in the grace and good favor of the Lord.
headed to the next bar, and then another bar,
Look at that. You see that coming for you with a hatchet? Get the fuck out of the way, right?
another, and so on and so forth, smashing up every bottle of alcohol she could for the remainder of the day. How did she just get away with it? Well, she had all the leverage. Police completely ignored
That pussy. Carrie Nation was like, "You boys, I told you, any lips that touch liquor will not touch mine." And they're like, "All right, no charges dropped."
her raid because the places she was smashing up and the alcohol she was destroying was technically illegal anyway. All she was doing was destroying illegal property.
That's all. So, like, if you go and you, like, that, by the way, this is why cartels exist. If you want to know why, like, cartels exist and they cut people's head and balls off and stuff them in their mouth, it's because of Carrie Nation. Because she went, like, they were all just loosely affiliated. Just cough medicine, we'll be fine. She starts smashing the place up, you know, waving weapons at people, and they're like, we probably should unionize this shit and start killing people back. You know, we gotta blunt this stuff. We gotta cut this off at the pass.
On her day of smashing, she wrote later in her autobiography, "My strength was that of a giant. I felt invincible. God was certainly standing by me." That December, Carrie headed to Wichita to do her thing again, and she smashed up the exceedingly fancy Carrie Hotel bar, including a racy picture of a nude Cleopatra at the bath and a mirror which was valued at $1,500.
Look at that. She was doing this for the Lord, man. They don't want any craven images. They don't want any lusting or booze or anything like that. Carrie was all about Jesus, dude.
Unfortunately for Carrie, by including valuable property in her smashings that wasn't illegal, like expensive mirrors and pictures, police
A cop put a knee on her neck and she suffocated to death.
couldn't just look the other way, and this Carrie Hotel bar incident landed her in jail.
Oops.
The sheriff, bent on making life miserable for her since he himself enjoyed a nice stiff drink every once in a while,
Oh, she fucked up. She went and broke a $1,500 mirror in a bar or in a city where the sheriff was a stinking drunk and a vindictive drunk.
gave cigarettes to other inmates to smoke right in her face. He put known lunatics in the cell next to hers and took away her bed and made her sleep on the stone floor.
It's like he made her sit in a cell with multiple MIGs. Look at the blood.
She was released on January 12, 1901, sick and weakened by the experience.
Ah, shit.
But not too sick and weak to call it a day. No, sir.
Nope, she
By
kept
the end
smashing.
of January, she was ready to get right back at it. And now, she knew she had to up her game. She graduated from throwing rocks and bricks to wielding a hatchet.
Yes, that's where the hatchet comes from. This is what makes her my favorite. The idea of a woman just coming into a bar, because women weren't allowed in the bars back then. So these guys were getting away from their wives, having a couple drinks. Here comes this crazy old ratchet bitch, and she's just swinging and just hacking it into the bar.
From then on, she called her raids on bars hatchetations.
Nice.
And she traveled from state to state, swinging her hatchet and smashing up bottles of alcohol in any establishment that served it.
And she used to read this passage. She used to say, what was it? The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides with the inequities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men.
Her hatchetations and the fact that she was an older lady running around with a hatchet smashing things in the name of Christ made her famous. Soon,
You don't see a lot of people doing that, you know? They stick out like a sore thumb. Who does she look like? She looks like the head lady from Monsters Inc. a little bit.
crowds began to greet her when she came to their city.
Awesome,
And
she's a
before
rock
you
star.
knew it, Carrie A. Nation started gathering some followers and fellow believers in her cause to carry this nation away from sin.
I gotta be honest, Carrie Nation was like early Gallagher, you know? He was like, it slices, it dices, it bashes in drunks, it's the hatchetation! Woo! She would walk into bars and she would go, why is it good food and not good food? Whabam!
To raise money for her cause, Carrie A. Nation performed in a vaudeville show as, quote, the famous and original barroom smasher.
So she really was. She was fucking Gallagher ripped off his bit from Carrie Nation.
She also sold pins with hatchets on them. Carrie died when she was 65, but her crowning achievement would come 8 years after her death when the 18th Amendment passed and Prohibition went into full effect.
See, that's where the bitch went too far. Like, it's after her death, they got a little carried away. It's like, you know, give us a chance to moderate our drinking a little bit. We don't have to go cutting everybody off right away. But she's one of my favorites, man. There was nobody at my daughter's wax museum performance thing. Oh Jesus! I just saw a tweet. Chino was sniping the gals today, huh? Oh my God. I have another message that I have to read after I get off. I am so far behind in all my stuff today. Like, I was able to get a show ready for tonight with like news and clips and stuff like that. No drama tonight, nothing like that. I just, I saw that we had our goals were going to be reduced dramatically, so I kind of wanted to do more of a hang thing. I apologize if that makes me a bad guy, but I was running around all day. I was with the kids and the grandparents and all that. And I haven't really been caught up on what's going on in the girly, gossipy world. But I love that shit. The Hatchetations, that lady was on. Taste Fairy Ialto says she was an OG juggalette. Kind of. She walked into every bar and she went, this is for the juggalos and juggalettes. She starts smashing shit. Rexstart says, we need to let her do a couple of Cartnarks videos. That would have been great. Dude, Carrie Nation would have crushed on YouTube. Carrie Nation has a couple of guest spots on Cartnarks, and she's like, you're going to carry that fucking cart back to the corral and just start chasing people with a fucking hatchet. I like her. She's one of my favorite historical figures. I do. Oh my God, really? Today is Killdozer Day? Oh shit. Well, then it's perfect that we do Carrie Nation coverage. Perfect. Chevmatic with $1 says, sounds like Aaron. He used to go over to Knicks and start smashing. What did I say? No drama today. We're trying to be nice. What kind of talk is that? Are you trying to give Stalin some material to create a short? Is that what you're doing? Honky with $1 says, what's the first thing a woman should do after she comes out of the battered shelter? Make her man a sandwich before, if she knows what's good for her. I can't endorse that. I can't endorse that kind of talk. That's, I believe personally, that's bully behavior. Thank you for the $1. Our goal is $70 tonight, and I have declared I am banning any donations larger than $5. I want to do this small bills at a time. The whole $70 for today. So Streamlabs, PayPal, Venmo, Super Chats, Rumble Rants, I ask you to respect my wishes and keep it to $5 and under. I can't stop you, but I think it's kind of a fun bit. Nader P says, this bitch was no Marvin Haymeyer. Well, dude, she didn't have the stuff at her disposal. Like, she had to walk to these places or take a horse and buggy. She didn't have... she didn't have access to a car, and she's just bringing rocks and a hatchet and smashing shit up. That's pretty fucking ballsy. Roots Calhoun says, I got a half-warm 30-pack of PBR. God, you really are a piece of shit. I'll be drinking for Marv tonight. Gonna hang with Nightwave and drink. Oh, so it's a sad day? It's kind of become a tradition. Marv and Bebo, twice a year, we mourn. I don't know, man. That Killdozer guy, I got a controversial statement. I think that guy might have had a screw loose. Just a little bit. MSO says, you heard him, folks. All donations are banned. Now, that is clearly not what I said. I did not ban all donations. I just said I think it would be cool, since we have such a small goal, to do it in small increments. I think that would be kind of fun. I didn't think we needed to, complicate it. But thank you, MSO. Kraken Slappin' says her in modern days would be on TikTok whining about shit. That's why she was the perfect woman for her time. But yeah, there were just like so many kids who, like, I was kind of impressed, but I was kind of like, what the fuck are you guys doing picking, these people? For a couple of them picked Martin Luther King Jr. And like, this is a very, white part of central Minnesota. So when I walk in and I see a couple people as Martin Luther King Jr., I'm like, oh boy, are they going to do the, because like in that part of the state, they don't know that that blackface is bad yet. But luckily I looked and, they kept it white. It's all right. What do you do? Like if you're a teacher and you got fifth graders and let's say they just come from one of those homes, And they're like, I'm going to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And the dad just like puts bronzer on him and sends him out there. Big white lips. And it's like, Dad, this is way too far. I don't think this is Amos and Andy, not Dr. Martin Luther King. You push the kid's button. He's like, hi, I'm Dr. Martin Luther King. Son, that's not how I taught you to do it. Push the button. Oh, Lordy, I's Dr. Martin Luther King, and I sure don't likes me no racisms. Fucking A, Dad. I didn't want to do it like this. No, but she was Weird Al Yankovic. She did a really good job. I didn't embarrass her too much. I really didn't. I was well behaved. Let's go to Rusty. He says the toe always wins. Let's see to it that he gets a loss for everybody's turning on me. I wanted to give everybody kind of a nice, easy night. You know, we have a little fun. We talk a little shit. You want to play a little Killdozer clip? Little Killdozer like we did for Carrie Nation? Once we hit the goal, we'll do a little Killdozer dance tonight. What do you say? Streamlabs, PayPal, Venmo, Super Chats, and Rumble Rants. Everything you pitch in will go toward the kid. Now, see, Kraken slapping with $10 says, what? Was I not supposed to? I still, look, thank you. I appreciate that. That's very, very nice of you. I would like to do this $5 and under at a time. I would appreciate that. But that does bring us to 60. Thank you. Now we can start now. We can start going $5 and under at a time, starting right now. Everything, I'm banning contributions of $5, anything over $5. I'm bad. That one that got through from Kraken slapping, that's the last one. I swear to it. Let's see what we've got today. Oh yeah, that's right. Speaking of Minnesota, speaking of this lovely state of ours, ICE came to town. Immigration came to Minneapolis, and a lot of people think that Minneapolis is just this pissy pants, blue-haired, malnourished, liberal shithole, right? I want to play a clip of the ICE raids today. ICE was in Minneapolis just making an appearance. You know what I love about the Trump administration is that your sanctuary city bullshit does not matter to them. If there's an immigrant criminal and they're scheduled for deportation, ICE is coming in, they're going to take them. You can take it up with the courts later. So ICE went into Minneapolis, which I believe under Mayor Fry is a sanctuary city. And oh boy, what I love about this clip we're about to show you. Let me ask you something. I'll go to the chat before we hit play. What I love about all these liberal causes in inner cities is you can tell when white liberals are kind of on their own. What do you notice about this protest? Now, remember, this is ICE busting illegal immigrants, usually mostly Latinos. What do you notice about the makeup of this protest? I'm going to take this down. I'm going to go to the chat. You tell me what you notice about Minneapolis's ICE raid protest today. We have... they're all gay. Okay, I suppose. All fat dum-dums. Okay, that one too. Fed. They're fags. You know what? There we go. Taste Fairy says they're all white women. I mean, close enough. Close enough. But, it's all white people. You notice that black people are not real big on fighting for the rights of illegal Latino immigrants. Could it be that they take kind of, I don't know, maybe not entry-level jobs, but like jobs that don't require like college or some high school graduation? Maybe people with a checkered past could get that gig, but wouldn't you know? They went ahead and hired an illegal instead. Not a lot of black people giving a shit about illegal immigration. Not really thinking that it's so unjust. In fact, one of the reasons Donald Trump did so well among blacks and Latinos this time around is that blacks and Latinos, surprise, surprise, not real big on illegal immigration either, because a lot of Latinos came here legally, and people coming here illegally kind of pisses them off a little bit. So let's see how the angry whites, who probably dispersed after the sun was going down, met ICE in Minneapolis today.
Trying to block the police from leaving once again.
How's that going to work?
They threw out a bunch of garbages. Now people are trying to create a line out here to stop ICE and FBI.
I love how all these, oh, look at this. We're dumping trash on the ground. That's great. Hey, that's a great way to protest. You know, ICE and the FBI are going to be out of here today, but you're going to dump garbage and shit all over your home city. That's great. You guys really know how to fight for liberty. Yeah, that's right. If you guys don't get the fuck out of there, I'll make my city look like dog shit. In fairness, Minneapolis does that form of protest remarkably well. We've had practice.
That's your city.
I love that guy, just like me. He's just like, it's your city. Go ahead, like dump shit all over it. We're leaving.
So get the fuck out!
Oh shit, septum piercing supreme. That's like the final boss of liberalism. Go back. Look at that. Oh my God. Look at that thing. You can pull that thing right back into the barn when it starts raining. Holy shit. You know, I used to have one of those on my front door to let me know that people were here. They just knock the damn thing. Holy Jesus. That is the social justice final boss. I believe her hair color might be the same color as that rain gear.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
Move on right now. Back up.
So these people are putting...
You know how people say, like, oh, man, I don't vote because, like, do elections really matter? Let me tell you something. In this case, yeah, elections matter. They matter quite a bit. I don't really see the Biden FBI or ICE department doing this same kind of a thing.
Putting up a pretty strong wall here. They're following the police officers retaliate.
They're putting up, you just said they're putting up a pretty strong wall here. Look, your definition of a pretty strong wall and my definition are just different, I guess.
People are pushing back at the police, showing no respect towards the police. People are upset because the ICE did come through here and they did take some illegal immigrants out of here, of the city.
I love how they're putting up a strong wall. It's like the police are just grabbing them by the shoulders and going, you over here. Yeah, we're really fighting back against the authorities. Bro, they ain't even pulled out nightsticks yet. And after the nightsticks, they're bringing out the mace. And after the mace, they're bringing out the tasers. And after the tasers, they're bringing out the guns. Right now, they're just moving you aside like a parent does a crying baby.
This is how the sheriff works.
Oh, shit. How's that wall coming, guys? How's that wall holding? Oh, my. Go back.
This is how the sheriff works.
I gotta go. Do we have a camera on this guy before? Like, do we know what he did? Okay, so this guy here.
This is how the sheriff works.
Oh, that guy backed up pretty quick. He got in there and said, yo, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, what do you want to do? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, bro. I'm good. By the way, this is what would have happened if you would have brought some fucking cops down the night of those George Floyd riots to the 3rd precinct and protected the precinct building. You would have pushed these little fuckers back instantaneously. Nacho Varga handling shit. It really is just childish rage at this point. Yeah, it doesn't look like that wall stopped that white van full of Mexicans from getting out of Dodge.
Go back to Oak River, you pieces of shit.
Back, bye, Mike. Bye back.
You fell down and you went boom. You hit a garbage can on your way down, you stupid asshole. Oh, man, he's staring him down. Yeah.
This guy taunting and messing with the police. He's gotten thrown a few times by the police. And he's
We've got to be honest there. Actually, kind of making him their bitch right now, but he's really giving him a what for.
keeping on going back to him, too. This guy right here just got pushed by the police after he's pushing at them. police threw him down, and he keeps going after.
Police threw him down. He keeps going after him. Yeah, I don't really know if that's a W, kid. Yeah, there's so many people from Minneapolis on Twitter today, like posting video going, look at us. We're fighting back against ICE, man. It's like, it's just ICE beating the shit out of everyone and then leaving. It's going to be a long summer. We will show up every time. They aren't welcome here. Yeah, these guys don't seem so scared. Oh, there we go. Oh no, that's the guy who fell down on the garbage can. Oh, a reverse angle. Yeah, I don't know. Minnesota, somewhere between here and George Floyd, they lost their protesting chops. That's for sure. Oh boy. Poor. I don't know how ICE got through it. I really don't. I don't know how ICE recovered from such a brutal protest. Dill Pickle with $1.99 says, let's get this going for Marvin. Yes, when we hit the goal tonight, we are going to do some Killdozer coverage. In fact, as soon as the goal gets hit, we're going to fire up a Killdozer documentary clip. Russ Belt with 501. Now, come on. I told you guys I'd like to cap donations tonight at $5. Nothing bigger than $5 if we could. 501 just seems purposely defiant. Wally World with $6. I don't think you guys. I don't think you guys are doing this in good faith. I don't. Dill Pickle with $1.99 says, check on your friends. They may need help welding. $50 away from tonight. Now, I mean it, guys. Everything under $5. $5 and under for tonight. I'm telling you. Landers says, get those gel pellet guns. Have fun. Makes for good target practice. Yeah, like I said, those authorities did not seem very intimidated. Yankee says, all I see is a bunch of stupid liberal white kids fighting against their own best interest. Well, you know, sometimes you got to drag them kicking and screaming. Let's go to... Oh, Clopogram has a conspiracy theory. Uh-oh. Clopo says, anybody noticed Aaron's nose is red, raw, and his face is swollen? That thing on his head is more than a zit. What? Oh, no. Hope I'm not coming down with something. Loaded Wrench with $2 says, name one customer I've banned. What? They're arguing about something. Thank you for the $2. I appreciate it. Rusty Grammar says, that's a massive space for a zit. Don't act like you've never had one. There's just more real estate. You know, people here defend me. And sometimes they don't defend me the way I'd like them to. That's how you know they're doing it honestly. Daylaw. I like Daylaw. Daylaw becoming a member for 7 months. Says Loaded Wrench blocks paying members. Oh, Loaded Wrench, you dirty dog, you. I will investigate these charges, and I will be looking into it, and by God, I like the ball-busting ones. Some of them, they bust balls so much they break their own brains. Like, we hit our goals every day. We've had a perfect week. We missed Monday, but we got it back last night. Muttering Jay is convinced that it's a conspiracy. Muttering Jay's like, no, he can't hit it. He did not hit it. It doesn't count. Like, it's my hitting the goal. I don't know if it takes chi breaths off of his lifespan. I don't know if he's going to die younger. So Thorough Joe Burrow is the same way. If I win, it, like, matters to them. Like, instead of having fun or instead of being able to enjoy themselves and going, shucks, better luck next time, like a good supervillain, it not only upsets them, but it upsets them to the point where they have to make up an alternate reality. Meanwhile, the checks are still cashing here, so I'm sorry, boys. Again, I really don't think I'm that good. I don't think I have that much talent, but apparently my ability to get you do that for coping, I must be better than I think. You know what it is? I'm a humble giant. I love you guys. I know you guys don't like me very much, but I have to tell you, you entertain me quite a bit. I do find you very entertaining. It's like, like a psychotic guy, like a guy in a psych ward. You entertain me the same way I'm entertained by Dom Delacroix in The Green Mile. Like, you got a little mouse, and you're playing with him, and he goes in a box, and we've convinced you're going to send him to Mouseville. I like you. I do. I know you don't like me, but I like both of you guys. You're harmless, and you're very entertaining for me. You're my little lol cow puppets. Loaded Wrench with $2 says, this $2 is the same color as your shirt. Very good. The Steel Toe audience knows their colors. Rusty Grammar says, Daylaw can fuck off. Sorry. What? I like Daylaw. Daylaw's wonderful. Come on. Wally World with $2 says, your fingers look blue. Uh-oh. It's my blood oxidation. I'm sorry. It's nothing big. Look, I had some pie earlier today. I was using whipped cream. I got a little close to the canister. It's not what you think. It's not what you think. $45 away from today's goal. We have banned people from contributing more than $5. You contribute more than $5. We're not banning you. No, I'm sorry. We've banned donations of more than $5. We're not banning the people. But right now we're $45 away. And once we hit that 45, we're going to do a little killdozer tonight in honor of the man himself. So we're staying in Minnesota today. We don't really need to leave Minnesota for a little while. We've got a great Dave Portnoy clip. Dave Portnoy unleashed his Jew rage on one of his employees today during one of the shows they do. They were having a debate about free speech and stuff going on with Israel. And one of his co-hosts, one of his employees, and this is the shitty thing about doing a show with your boss, is that, you're like, oh, can I really cross him here? It's like a religion thing. He's Jewish, the whole deal. Well, one of these guys on Barstool said that, hey, you should be able to criticize Israel. You should be able to make Jew jokes and stuff like that. It's comedy. It's free speech. Dave Portnoy lost it on him. I mean, he was pulling the who signs your paychecks gag. I mean, it got bad. We're going to go to that today. I'm very excited about that clip. I'm very pumped about it. We're going to get to that in just a little bit. Root says, Daylaw is all right. That's what I said, too. I personally brought Daylaw back because I remember Daylaw. Daylaw was always a ball buster. She wasn't like doxing people. Like, I had to let Kloppo Graham go just a second ago because he's doxing things that people want private. Like, he's just, people who aren't, they don't appear on what do you call it, streams and stuff. So we had to cut him loose for that, and I feel bad, but he knows he deserved it. But I think Daylaw is one of those people who's just, they're having fun. They're having a good time. They're busting some balls. They're not like, the mentally ill people, you kind of got to save them from themselves. That ain't Daylaw. I like Daylaw. So let's go to this softball player. Remember we were talking about Champlain Park softball? They had a trans pitcher. And I don't know, it was hard for me to tell how much of an advantage this male pitcher had over the females because, fast pitch softball was one of those things where, I was in the starting rotation on my high school baseball team. I was one of the pitchers. I was number 2 my first couple of years, and then I was the third in the rotation. But when we would have, free days and we would, go hit on the softball girls and flirt with them because some of them were our friends. We would do inter-squad scrimmages, and the guys would play softball, and we'd try to pitch. And I threw hard. I was a good pitcher. I couldn't fucking figure out the mechanics of the fast pitch softball. These girls could just whip that son of a bitch in there, and we had a hard time figuring out how to do that and throw it for a strike. So I hear that there's this guy, biological guy, pitching against the girls, and now Champlain Park, I believe, won the state title today. And the team they were playing against, their coach didn't want to kick up a fuss about the pitcher. So they released this, they sent this email where they wrote this letter to the parents and the team members of their team, the opposing team to this guy. And he said, I don't want this to get political. I don't want any protests out there during the game. Let's just play a fun game. Let's have a good time, blah, blah. And apparently that rubbed a lot of the parents the wrong way. Well, Marissa Rothenberger is the name that this pitcher is going by. And that's what they look like. And, I don't know. That doesn't really look like a very masculine build. I don't know if this is in the same level of a 6'7" guy transitioning and then playing basketball. I feel like there's levels to this, and this isn't quite on that level. Let's look at a little.
And the pitch. Rothenberger back in the fifth. Swing and a miss here first. 0-2 pitch. Strike. And the pitch.
So that's them pitching.
Fifth. Swing and a miss here first. 0-2 pitch. Strike.
Now that just looks to me like I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong because I'm not a big softball guy, I feel like there's girls who throw that hard. And maybe the argument is he's got longer arms, so it's less distance to travel to the plate, longer legs, so they can take a bigger stride. They're basically their hands at the catcher's mitt by the time they're letting go. I don't know. All I know is they won. They're the state champions, and people are really, really pissed off about it. They're really mad. I don't think it should be allowed. I don't think the kids should be able to play on the girls' slow pitch softball team. I also don't think it's the same. I just don't think it's the same level as the sprinters and the basketball players and the swimmers and shit like that. Jailbreak chat says them big boned bitches. Not really. We had a couple on our high school girls softball team. A lot of the really cute girls were on the softball team. We had some cute softball players and actually some cute basketball players in our school. They were all right. Taste Fairy Ialto says, did you ever play town ball? Yes, I played 2 years in Moundsview. I played 2 years of town ball in Moundsview, and I played a year of town ball in Litchfield. My shoulder just, as a pitcher, when your shoulder goes, you just kind of drag it out for a few years, and then I just kept getting hurt. So that was that was it for me. I did then transition into the world of slow pitch softball, where I am a 2-time slow pitch softball league champion. Back to back. 2021, 2022, back-to-back Tuesday night, Bob Cross Park League, slow pitch softball league champions. What can I say? The red division too, the better division. I'm telling you, man, we did not fuck around. Not at all. Jailbreak chat says Aaron transitioned all right. When I said it, I thought up here for a second. I went, you know what? We're having a chill Wednesday night. We're not doing a crazy what's the drama, type of show. So they're going to let that one go. That one's not going to be a big deal. I was wrong. $45 away from tonight. And remember, I don't want any contributions over $5. Let's get this all done. And when we get that 45 wrapped up, we're going to do a little killdozer tonight. In honor of the man, the myth, the legend, we're going to honor him the proper way. All right, let's get to this Dave Portnoy thing. This is my meat and potatoes of tonight. While you're watching, could you do me a favor? Hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, as the kids call it, and subscribe, follow, all of that stuff. It's great for the algorithm if we hit thumbs up. So every time you come in here, just get in the habit of clicking the thumbs up button. I do that with every video I watch now. Even if I click on it, I give it the thumbs up. Even if I end up not liking it, I just, hey, thanks for the effort is what I'm saying. All right, let's do this Dave Portnoy thing. So Dave Portnoy was doing one of the 5,000 podcasts that Barstool Sports does. And in this one, they were talking about comedy. They were talking about Jews. They were talking about anti-Semitism, free speech, stuff like this. And Dave Portnoy, I'm going to classify this as a mild freakout at one of his co-hosts.
I think right now you probably
nothing
don't
then.
do it.
Nothing. Silence everything.
What do you?
Every comedian, don't tell a joke about it. Because Dave, that's how the world works. I agree with you.
Go back to your question. When does freedom of speech impinge
That was your
on freedom
question,
of
not
religion?
mine. That was your question. Not
Answer
mine.
it.
Okay, so that's actually, you know what? And I know most people are going to think Dave's being a dick during this segment, but that is an interesting question. When does freedom of speech impede freedom of religion? That's a way more intelligent question than you usually get from people who are trying to shut down speech on Israel. You know, usually it's, they're our ally and we care about them and Israel's our friend and we shouldn't undermine American foreign policy. Well, first of all, you have the freedom of speech in this country. You have the First Amendment. You can undermine American foreign policy all you want. I mean, undermining American foreign policy is why we got so many good songs out of the 1960s and 70s. You know, we're not getting Buffalo Springfield for what it's worth if we've all got to, obey American foreign policy. Fortunate Son. We're not getting Ohio by Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. Tin Soldiers and Nixon's coming indeed. So Dave Portnoy asks, when does that freedom of speech, when does it butt up against freedom of religion? Now, I would argue that a church is a private building. So if you go into a church to exercise your freedom of speech to go, Jesus is bullshit, blah, blah, they can throw your ass out. That would be where your freedom of speech clashes with freedom of religion, and the freedom of religion and the property owner wins. But as far as like criticizing Israel or shitting on Netanyahu or even criticizing Jews, it should be allowed. You know, Patrice O'Neill had a great point talking about hate speech. He goes, why can't I hate you? That should be part of the First Amendment. I mean, I don't think it's good. I think hate is baggage. I think it's bad to carry around with you. I think it ages you. I think it's terrible for you. I think some of you on the internet probably have a little bit too much of that baggage shitting inside your heart. But God bless you. You entertain the shit out of me. But that doesn't mean that you should be banned from doing it by the government.
How many deaths?
Yeah.
I don't have an answer.
What's American citizens?
What's your answer to that question?
Now.
Okay, we're there.
Now.
So now what? So now what do we do?
So maybe you stop with the fucking Jew jokes and act like it's not a big deal when someone does fuck the Jews in a bar.
Okay, so he's still on the fuck the Jews thing at his bar. That is not free speech. You do not have a constitutional right to go to somebody else's bar and put fuck the Jews on their property. That's, that you don't have that freedom in this country never existed. You can be kicked out. If they feel it's harassment or trespassing, they can call the police on you. Like, that's all well and good. But is Dave Portnoy trying to say we should not be allowed to do Jew jokes right now? I mean, why? Because Israel's at war? I got bad news for you, buddy. Israel's always at war. If not allowing people to tell Jew jokes because Israel's at war was a thing, there'd be no more Jew jokes. Oh, I see what we're doing. All right, continue on. Dave Portnoy is... Now, the thing is, rule of the internet. If you get emotional like this, and the person you're arguing with is getting emotional, smile, compose yourself, because how you look is just as important as what you say. So if Dave Portnoy is going, doesn't really matter so much what he's saying if the other person goes, Dave, you need to calm down, buddy. What are you doing? That guy has the upper hand. He's chill. Now, if both guys are going, then you got to kind of listen to the screaming and the yelling and determine who's making a better point.
But here's the thing. I'm with you 1,000% on that. You should fucking kick those people out. Of course you should.
I'm not talking about kicking them out. I'm talking about...
You want to go to jail? Like, what do you want? Like, Those guys,
you are defending this guy Mick for what he said right after that happened. He's not anti-Semitic.
I'm not defending him. No,
if your brain goes there, you are
not defending him, Dave.
anti-Semitic.
What I'm saying is, you should have him on here or somebody else like that and
Why?
fucking fight with them, because then you have a conversation.
That's what this idiot wants.
Dave, these guys that wrote the thing at the bar, fuck the Jews, right?
Yes.
You're gonna fucking fly them to Auschwitz. Some guy tweets at you something. You want to fucking? He's not. You can't come on.
That's a good point. Like, you don't have to fly him to Auschwitz. Kick him out of the fucking bar and call it a day. He wrote a dickhead thing on your sign. Now, first of all, it's kind of Dave Portnoy's fault, because Dave Portnoy has this policy where if you did VIP bottle service at his bar, you could tell the waitress to put whatever you want on the sign. That's part of the thing. If you don't want people to write "fuck the Jews" on the sign, don't give them access to your sign, because somebody at some point was going to try to troll you or fuck with you. So, but I think his little co-host guy, whoever that is, I think he's right. You know, you don't fly him out to Auschwitz and do that shit. You kick him out of the bar and they can yell "fuck the Jews" somewhere else.
It was a bar I owned. It was a bar I owned.
They should have been kicked out. So, but my thing is,
no, it's not just kick out, Kirk. Are you ignoring what's going on in the world?
No,
right
I'm
now?
not. What, Dave? What do you want to do with those guys? What do you want to do?
It's
What do you want to do with those guys in the bar? Put them in jail for 50 years? Fine.
No, we're not putting anyone in jail for saying that. That is quintessentially anti-American. We're not going to be throwing people around for saying, fuck Christians, fuck Muslims, fuck Jews, fuck this, fuck that. You can say that. You can't go onto someone's property, use their shit, and project it up on the wall without their permission. They can throw you out for that. But if they want to go down the road and they want to be in a public space and they want to yell that, yeah, it's obnoxious as all hell, but they're allowed to.
I didn't say that. You're quite literally changing everything you say, Kirk. If you just want me to kick him out, not mention it, not care that this kid is anti-Semitic, shut up. If you just want me to ignore it,
don't tell me to shut up.
Shut the fuck up, you bald fuck.
Well, this conversation just became very, very productive. Shut the fuck up, you bald fuck. Hey, he's got a little fuzz up there. Calm down there.
Okay, go ahead.
How's that?
Oh, it's kill. I'll never recover from that, Dave. Go ahead, continue. I'll never recover.
Well, you're the one who big boss man, don't tell. I'll tell you work for me.
Okay, go ahead, continue.
Oh, here we go. You work for me, you little bitch. Yeah, this seems like a real even argument now. So this guy doesn't agree with you that we should do, I don't know, what is Dave Portnoy even saying? Like, he's like, oh, you saying I can't throw him out? He's like, yeah, you can throw him out, but what else do you want to do? And Dave Portnoy's like, don't you understand the gravity of the situation? And the guy's like, Dave, what do you want to do to these guys? What more do you want to do? You kicked them out. And he's like, don't you understand the... It's like, Dave, answer the fucking question. Shut up, you bald bitch. You work for me. That really shows that you have a lot of confidence in your argument. That you're going to go, you bald bitch, you work for me. That's real good. We're pulling rank now because we can't stand behind whatever the fuck we're saying. Dave Portnoy has stood up for so many people's rights to be mean, to be nasty, to harass people, to shit on people, everything else. He has defended so many people. But when it becomes a Jew thing, now all of a sudden Dave Portnoy wants to put training wheels on freedom of speech.
Bitch, you work for me.
Sure, you bet. For now.
Oh, you
continue.
don't? For now, quit. I don't care.
Is this show or not a show? Like, is a show or not a show? Like, we can't have a conversation?
You're an idiot.
Okay, continue.
Well, I mean, that's, can we have a conversation? You're an idiot. Well, that's an interesting counterpoint we got going here, I suppose.
Literally saying people should be allowed to make Jew jokes, say whatever they want right fucking now. That's
yes, I think people should be.
Yes, yes, that's a very American thing. Everybody should be allowed to make Jew jokes. A Jew is in a canoe. Who tips first? There. Come on. Christian jokes, Catholic jokes, Muslim jokes, atheist jokes. They're all allowed. Everyone is so fucking balls deep in free speech until it's time for their thing to be upset. Why do you think none of these retards can get to me? I'm 100% free speech. You want to say something about me on any platform you want, anywhere you want? Go ahead. I'm probably going to laugh at you for taking me so serious because I got you at that point. But, and Dave's right. They don't have the right to come into your space and just say whatever the fuck they want. If you're going to be a cunt and disruptive, they're going to boot you. I'm totally fine with that. I'm okay. That's not a violation of anyone's free speech. But he's like, oh, you think you should just be able to make Jew jokes? Yeah, of course.
Allowed to make jokes.
So how many motherfucking Jews have to be killed before you stop?
That's dangerous. If Sam shows in here, he is going to spit you out an actual figure. It'd be pretty based if this guy went, well, clearly more than 6 million. I mean, because you're pretty bitchy tonight, Dave. What does that mean? How many have to die? Okay. How many Muslims have to be killed by Jewish bombs in Gaza? Can we not make Muslim jokes? You know, I would gather that a lot of Muslims have been killed since 9/11. A lot of Muslims have been wiped out by bombs. We can't make jokes because people die. How many of those jokes, how many times did people say a joke about a Jewish person and knives and blades flew out of their mouth and killed people? None. I don't think Hamas did October 7th because they were like, oh, we heard some comedian telling some Jew jokes and, you know, we thought we'd paraglide in and shoot some people and R-word women. You know, it's not how it works, Dave.
But I don't think.
What else? Where else is that happening with the religion or people?
I don't think those.
It's pretty bananas, isn't it, Dave? Only seems to be your religion. Wherever they go, people get mad, they get angry, there's fighting. That's weird, right? You guys just have the worst luck. That's really a terrible deal. You know, Jews keep going places and trouble starts and everyone just treats them bad for no reason at all. I get it, man. So let's ban jokes. Let's ban humor. That'll fix it. That'll make everybody like you. If Jews go, oh, we don't have a very good go of it right now. None of you are allowed to joke about us. You can joke about everybody else, but not us. Yeah, it's not going to make people resent you at all. This should work out great.
Those psychopaths, I'm with you. They're scumbags. They're the worst people on the earth. Should that?
You don't think it's all related?
But Dave, you're telling.
No, somebody telling a joke is not related to Hamas blowing shit up.
A comedian not to make a joke?
Nick is not a comedian.
I'm with you. But you said stop all jokes.
Jew jokes of that nature now.
We'll ban Jew jokes of that nature. We'll get the Constitution. We'll get Congress and stop Jew jokes of that nature.
Don't. You know what? That's not a funny joke because the Trump administration is damn near starting to enforce that. You can protest a lot of shit in college, but you start saying I'm not standing with Israel, and you might find yourself in a windowless van.
Back to this.
Yeah.
When does freedom of speech impinge on freedom of religion?
I think freedom of speech I think freedom of speech is the most important thing in this country.
Yes.
Okay, so people can go kill the Jews and there's no response.
No! People can't go kill people! That's not freedom of speech, Dave. You sound like a fucking moron. It is not freedom of speech to go kill a Jew. It's not freedom of speech to go kill anybody. Oh, he's arguing like a woman right now, and it's incredibly frustrating.
Responsibility if someone goes and kills Jews.
No, that's a crime if you kill someone.
No, but not saying, hey, go kill Jews.
That's different.
That's a call to action, you fucking asshole. You've never been allowed to do that. That's always been against the law. That's never been part of the First Amendment. It's called a call to action. That is not okay. My freedom to swing my fist ends at the tip of your giant nose.
No. What do you mean?
You can say somebody should go kill Jews. You don't.
No. Well, now wait a minute. He just changed what the somebody should. Now that's like the difference between I'm going to kill you and I wish somebody would kill you. I wish somebody would kill you is a much different, that's much more of a gray area than I'm going to kill you. That's different.
Don't do it, but someone hears you and goes do it. You're fine with that?
If somebody says, go kill Jews?
Yes.
No, that's
an order. Now, that's different. Somebody should. That's not a direction. That's not a call to action. That's a wish.
Different than telling. I thought we were talking about telling a joke. I thought we were talking about comedians.
They are all using semantics for anti-Semitism right now. And I can tell the difference because for 20 years of doing it, I've never mentioned it, Kirk.
No, and I said to you when this thing happened a couple weeks ago.
How can you not realize we're in a different time right now?
I get it. Dave is Jewish. I can understand where he's heated. I can understand where he's emotional. That doesn't make him right. That doesn't make him impervious to criticism. He is 1,000% wrong here. I empathize with Dave. I get it. I don't think he's being evil. I don't think he's being nefarious. I think Dave is very sensitive because the subject matter is very near and dear to his heart. I get that. I understand it completely. But on a freedom of speech tip alone, no, you can't stop people from saying fuck the Jews. You can't stop them from saying that unless they're doing it on your property.
Completely realize, and I'm sensitive to the fact that you're sensitive, and I feel bad.
No, you're not. You don't get it.
That's not true.
No. Yes, he is. I hate it when people do this. Just because I don't agree with you, that's you weaponizing someone else's empathy. That's bullshit. Because especially when you're in the grips of a heated argument, empathy can escape you. It can be difficult. But keeping in mind why this person feels this way, understanding how they came to the conclusion they did, but still disagreeing with them, that's a very important trait to have. But when that person takes your empathy and goes, oh, you say you care and you understand why I feel the way I do, but you don't agree with me, so you must be full of shit. It's like, oh, that's shitty.
True, I am sensitive to it. What I'm saying is it's a fine line. I think you would agree. I think you would agree.
By the way, smartest guy in this argument, this fucking dude in the Oilers hat. This guy is just... He might as well just be, having a game up on his phone and playing it.
Maybe you don't. Then when you start harnessing free speech and what can be said and what can't be said.
I'm not saying throw any of these people in jail. You want me to give this kid a pass?
No, he doesn't.
No. If you want, no. What I would like you to do, in my mind, this is why I pitched it to the producers, and you disagreed, and you are the boss. Like I said to you yesterday, it's your dime. You own the company. I thought it would be interesting to have somebody on who you disagree with, who I think at the end you wouldn't disagree with that much, have a conversation, which is what I thought you were trying to do. Hold on one second.
Stu Peters, welcome to the show. No.
Which I thought you were trying to do with bringing these guys to Auschwitz, trying to have a conversation. So you put a name in the face of somebody you disagree with and have an actual conversation.
All right. Well, I don't know, man. Like I said, I understand Dave's point of view. I understand why he's upset. I understand why he doesn't like the things that people are saying. However, that doesn't give you carte blanche to be able to just stop people from saying words. That's not how it works. Atomic Ray gifting a membership. Thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate that. Look at him following the rules. Nothing over $5 tonight. Redbird with $2. Says when you only apply it to one faith/nation. Yeah, that's not fair. That is not fair. Numero uno with $1. He loves this guy. It says, hey, toe boys and girls, there's only 517 days until you get to elect Billy Nord as your senator. Don't let those politician hacks Angie Craig or Peggy Flanagan smooth talk you. Billy is for the people. Now, numero uno Josh Denny fan loves Billy Nord because Billy Nord is a Red Bar fan. That's the only reason. He loves him. Numero uno with $1 says Billy Nord's campaign is focusing on helping rural Minnesotans. I wish I could bring these up. They're off my chat ninja. Billy Nord's campaign is focused on helping rural Minnesotans. He wants affordable houses for all, not just immigrants. Billy wants to hear from you on how he can help. $1 from numero uno. He says, don't kid yourselves, toe folks. Minnesota is electing a Democrat. Make sure it's your Democrat. Nord Toe 2026 for Senate. Now, two things. One, I am not running with Billy Nord. Number two, you can't have a running mate for a Senate seat. That's not how it works. Ed Harlow with $2 says killing people would technically fall within freedom of expression. I don't believe so. Numero uno with another $1 says Billy Nord basically has Aaron's same hairline. This is a match destined to happen. Nord Toe 2026 for Senate. But you can't. It doesn't work that way. Numero uno. I can't run with him. Numero uno with $1 says, please don't editorialize my Billy Nord endorsements. These are carefully researched facts. Billy is the man for Minnesota. Well, there you go. That's fine. Billy Nord can run for Senate in Minnesota. But I, again, cannot run with him. Well, look at that. You're turning people. Chevrolet JB says, Billy's my man. 383 Novocaine becoming a member for 36 months. Says 36 months. I need a life. Did you see Larry Bird's video? Yes, I did. You know what? Why don't we bring that one up now then? Since you brought it up and you've been such a long-time supporter. Oh, boy. Let's take a look. What is it? Larry Bird. He was talking about Angel Reese, I believe. Redbird with $5 says, you would fit right in with the degenerates in our government. Sir, I am a reformed degenerate. How dare you? But thank you for the $5. And thank you to everyone who is staying within our $5 contribution limit tonight. I do not want any contributions over $5 this evening. Numero uno with $1 says, I know you can't run, Toe, but Billy is trim enough to fit on the ballot even with you. Nord Toe 2026 for Senate. It doesn't work. Like, that's not... Again, I'm not trying to editorialize your contributions to this program. But that doesn't... How do I put it? What you're saying doesn't make any fucking sense. $30 away from tonight's goal. I want nothing bigger than a $5 donation during this. And when we knock out our final, when we knock out the goal tonight, our final goal of the week for the evening shows, we will do Killdozer coverage this evening as requested by the one and only Roots Calhoun. And, thank you. Also, Atomic Ray contributing that gifted membership. That does not violate the $5 limit because those are $5 contributions. Numero uno Josh Denny fan says, if you were to start running, you might put a dent in that second chin. Nord for the people, Nord for the Senate. Chevrolet JB with $1 says, Aaron would have been at a Diddy party so fast, probably would have brought the lube. I don't need the lube, brother. I get them nice enough. I don't even. No, I'm not. We're not going to do jokes about me being at a Diddy party. We're going to skip them. We're going to skip them. Is what we're going to do. All right, Larry Bird. I thought it was an Angel Reese thing. Now I lost. Now my clip is gone. Uh-oh, what happened? Did they get to Larry? Larry Bird. What happened? What happened? My Larry Bird clip is completely gone. Celtics legend paid me to win basketball. Yeah, I can't find the damn thing anymore. The link I had is showing me that the tweet's been deleted. Motherfucker. You know what? I'm sensing a conspiracy. Larry Bird humiliates Angel Reese on live TV.
Yeah, he had a great run.
All right. All right. Let's
Steph Curry, based on
Reese we didn't see coming. Yup, the Celtics legend, Mr. Cool himself, went out there.
I don't want to watch this guy talk about it. Destroyed Angel.
It almost felt like the WNBA wasn't ready for what Caitlin Clark was going to bring with her.
Caitlin Clark is shaking up the basketball world, earning the spotlight and admiration from NBA.
Yeah, like everybody is like, oh, did you see what Larry Bird said? Oh, man, look at what Larry Bird did. And then I scroll through this, and I can't find what the fuck Larry Bird said. They just use an old Larry for clickbait. They'd better not. Yeah, well, we'll find something before the show's over. We got lots of time. Redbird with $5 says, really, you would. You can lie with the best of them about being an honest, normal citizen. We see it every day. Parlock with $2 says, my wife is your wife. Nope, I'm not interested. I'm good. Thank you. I'm full. That will not be necessary. You do not need to offer me up your wife. There is no reason for you to be giving me your wife is your wife. That's it. You have no reason to turn them over to me. All right, $25 away from tonight's goal. Thank you guys very much. And you are sticking to the $5 individual donation limit. I appreciate that. All right, Roots, what do you have for the show tonight?
That's what I always do, and they never catch me.
What the fuck? Oh, I've seen these. This is that shit where they put babies in like historic moments. And yes, the catch me outside moment is now historic.
Nobody gonna catch me.
Because you're too streetwise?
Yup.
So Roots sent this in and he goes, I'm sorry these make me laugh so hard. I must be impervious to whatever these are because I think these are fucking retarded.
All these hoes laughing like so funny.
She's talking about the audience, that they're laughing at her.
Did you say the hoes are laughing?
Yeah.
That's why I love Dr. Phil. He needs a fucking translator. He's like, you're talking about the hoes? Isn't that?
So the audience are a bunch of hoes.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what, Roots? I am kind of liking this now.
Yeah. Catch me outside. How about that?
Huh?
Catch me outside. How about that?
Catch you outside? What does that mean?
What I just said. That's.
I think it's because Roots likes it so much. I'm laughing. I think that's why. Oh, man. All right, 383 Novocaine found the bird video. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right.
Yeah, he had a great run.
No, this is the 15-minute thing that I was talking about.
It's fun to watch. I think I watched Indiana State and Iowa. Caitlin Clark play about the same last year.
You called her garbage compared to Caitlin Clark.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, I've been watching from afar and understanding just how much of a power she is out there on the...
Peers like Larry Bird publicly humiliated Angel Reese by saying Clark is better. And honestly, it's game over for her.
I mean, is that really that controversial? I mean, Caitlin Clark in most of the metrics is better than Angel Reese, right? I mean, shit. I don't think it's controversial to say that Caitlin Clark has got it all over Angel Reese right now. They're threading that needle on that race shit. That's what it is. I don't want it to be a racial thing because they're both good players. It doesn't need to be. Race doesn't need to come into it. Caitlin Clark is a good basketball player. Everything else is incidental. Angel Reese is a very good basketball player. Everything else is incidental, but everybody's got to see white and black and shit. Crunchy with $20 says, dang, you know me so well. This is for Miss Tay, and I'm all in for Killdozer. All right, so Crunchy does not want that $20 going to her name, even though that would have put her back in the top 4. She wants it to go to Miss Tay, who will now be in 3rd at $80. And now that will put Gray Duckling in 4th with 70. All right, so now Miss Tay is the only woman in the top 4. Now, if Crunchy is at 60, Leah is at 40. So if Leah or Crunchy can leapfrog Gray Duckling, then Gray Duckling is pushed out, and then we got a couple more women back in there. That also means, I believe, that we are at $5 away from doing some Killdozer tonight. There you go. Thank you guys very much. Let's go to numero uno with $1. Says, I should have known. Has Angie Craig ever done a single thing to help the likes of Bigot on socialist media or McBuster? Plus, she seems like some kind of Asian. Nord toe for the Senate. Chevrolet JB with a link. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, $5 away. And then we're gonna do some Killdozer tonight. All right, we got something Gino did. Oh no, I don't think I can look at this. Well, I mean, I can look at it. I don't believe that I'm the. I don't believe I can play it on the show though. I don't think it's allowed, as it were. Gino can say whatever he wants. I did see a couple of people going, oh my God, they're going to fuck the toe. No, it's not. The whole plea thing, it's all set. I've done my pre-sentencing investigation. I've done my interview. Look, I know a lot of you are coping very hard because justice happened. I pled guilty to the thing I did. I'm going to serve my punishment for the thing I did. It's very, very fair. Some of you are mad. Some of you are very angry, and you're looking for any hope you can that I somehow get more than the justice that's been served. I understand. I get it. You do not like me. You hate my guts. You backed the wrong horse. You want me to somehow be worse than that person. That's okay. I'm not upset at you for that. You are well within your rights. I'm sorry for whatever I've done to you to make this so personal for you. But no, I am the only one who can fuck myself over. Gino can say whatever he wants. Gino can make whatever joke he wants. Gino can say whatever he wants. I'm sorry. Vodka Rock says, he said you still have the photo. I do not. I don't even have the phone that the photo was on. It is, that phone is, and that photo is long gone. I'm sorry. And look, you guys are probably going to drive yourself nuts trying to think of ways like, oh, I want to put him in jail. But like, remember when all you guys were like, we're going to get him to violate the Ashley thing, and then he's going to go to jail. Like, you guys have been trying to put me in jail for the last year. And I guess technically, even though I didn't ask for it, every day I'm not in jail, I guess, is a win over you. And I'm sure that's got to be really frustrating for you. And again, I'm really sorry, but Gino's allowed to say whatever he wants. Gino is allowed to throw out there whatever he likes. Vodka Rock says, do we just have your word on that? Did I stutter, sweetheart? Look, I understand. I did something to you, maybe in a past life. I'm not really sure. You seem very hostile and very angry. Everything's wrapping up. There's really only one thing that the judge can add to my sentence. And if they do that, they do that. That's all part of the deal. It's all fine. But I really feel bad for some of you. Like, some of you, it's really personal. Some of you, this really seems to upset your life. Some of you, you're just digging and digging and hoping and hoping. And I'm sorry that I haven't been able to give you what you want, because it really does seem to take up time in your life. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Vodka Rock. Wally World with 99 cents. Thank you very much. Numero uno, Josh Denny fan with $1. Here we go. They're going to be calling Billy Nord Killdozer after he gets in office and bulldozes the Democratic establishment to reach across the aisle and get the work of the people done. Nord Toe 2026. Here we go again. There is no two-person race for the Senate. I cannot run with Billy Nord. Best of luck. And you know what, numero uno? You're probably right. You're probably right. If you go to jail for 30 days, you'll drop under 200 pounds. Look on the bright side. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, and let's again, I don't mean to beat up Vodka Rock or Chevrolet JB or any of the other guys. I also need to point out to you, while none of us do have the photo, it doesn't exist anymore. If I did or if I did not, and I know this is really hard to understand because I had to have it explained to me. It doesn't matter. Gino saying that the photo existed at one point, that's it. That's enough. So whether I possess it or whether I don't possess it matters not in this case. And I didn't have it. And I said to my attorney, I'm like, I don't have the thing. Does that matter? He goes, no, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that the photo doesn't exist anymore as long as we have Gino's word. And a lot of that's because in the realm of the law, people having photos on them is still a relatively new concept. So actually possessing the physical photo is not something that's been common for that long. So the law is kind of established as long as someone says they saw that the photo existed at one point, that's good enough. So I could sit here and go, yep, I've got the photo. I've got it. It's on my phone, blah, blah, blah. I could say that all day long. Wouldn't matter. Would not matter at all. And again, I don't blame any of you that hate me for being, thinking that's your big, magnum opus, or that's your big ace in the hole for getting what you want. It's okay that you don't know that. I didn't know it until I went through this whole thing either. So I just feel bad for some of you, because you really do seem incredibly invested, and you set the bar so high, and then you get mad at me when it doesn't happen to me. I don't know. It's a really weird way to be. And I'm really sorry that you guys have, I guess, worked yourself into a shoot in that manner. All right, guys, we are $5 away from Killdozer. Get after it. And yeah, no, I'm not people like, oh, aren't you going to be mad at Gino? Aren't you going to? Well, I don't have the fucking thing anymore. And also, Gino's allowed to say whatever Gino wants to. It's over. I mean, we just sentencing left in a couple of weeks and then on with our life. All right, let's go to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Sorry to smack you guys around like that, but you kind of asked for it. Let's go to Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about this big, beautiful bill. It's not so much the bill that I want to get to here. It's the hypocrisy, because I'm not a big Marjorie Taylor Greene guy. I also don't like that not reading the bill. You hear that a lot. With Obamacare, you heard that a lot. They're like, oh, none of these people even read the bill, or these stimulus packages, these spending packages. They never even read the bill. I got bad news. Democrat, Republican, hardly any of these motherfuckers read a page of anything they vote on. They get like a one sheet from the administration, and they're like, yeah, this bill has this, 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 and this. And then they start to gather the votes on it. They start to count the votes. And there's a guy from Ohio. And the guy from Ohio doesn't want to vote for it. He's not so sure about it. So the president calls him in and he goes, what do we need to put in this fucking bill? We got money in this bill. Where do we need to appropriate it? That's earmarks. That's pork barrel spending. What do we need to earmark for you to vote for this bill? And that's how people get like $10 million for the military base in town. That's how they get money for their constituents, so they can run on that next time around. They brought jobs to Ohio. That's because they held out on a very important spending bill, and they got a little something thrown their way. So I kind of hate it when some right-winger criticizes some left-winger for not reading a bill. It's like, boy, it would be so useful if you guys wouldn't do that when it's ideologically comfortable for you. I wish you would do that all the time. I wish you would hold these people's feet to the fire constantly when they don't read the bill. But you only want to do it as a gotcha for a Republican or a gotcha for some Democrat.
Say in full transparency, you didn't know that this was in there, and now you're shining a light on it. How did you not know that it was in there, and how'd you find out about it?
Well, we don't get the full bill text until very close to the time to vote for it. And so that was one section, that was 2 pages that I didn't see. And I'm being very transparent and honest about it with everyone. But
look, she's being very transparent and honest because this guy caught her. Fact of the matter is, as much as I'd love to rip Marjorie Taylor Greene apart, as much as I like to say, look at her, fucking, lazy. They all do this. They all read a summary of the bill. First of all, if, 80-90% of the Republicans, it's just sent down from Trump. And before they even read the bullet points on it, the summary on it, they go, I'm for it. It's the president's bill. I love it. It's the best. Whereas, a Rand Paul is one of the rarities who goes, I'm going to read this thing because he's a dork. And I love him. He's my favorite guy, but he's a nerd. And he goes, I read this bill and it's not going to add to the deficit and blah, blah. And is he right? Yes, but he's not sure in Idiocracy. They all look at him and they go,
you talk like a fag and your shit's all retarded.
So, and then everybody calls out everybody for not reading the bill, but they only do it when it's convenient for their side. It would be a lot better if we all just went, hey, perhaps, maybe, we should call everybody out for this. Nah, we'll just call this one guy out for it. And only when it's our side's advantage. Let's go to Landers. He says, AI, they want to give control to one specific company. Get ready for Patriot Act 3.0. Digbick says every bill is over 1,000 pages. Chevrolet JB with $1 says, Aaron, love the show. Just been through the system. Shit like that can fuck you. It can't. I mean, the plea's done. Nobody has the photo. It's gone. It's out of existence. Nobody could bring it up if they wanted to. Sorry. I will entertain people's fan fiction because I know I set them off for some reason. And I know the way everything's going. And when they have their delusions, don't get me wrong. Like, I like crushing their spirits and I like, smacking them down and taking them down a peg or two. But also, I like kind of pointing out how that like parasocial behavior is kind of weird. Like it's very toxic to yourself. Not to me. I mean, whatever. You know how I handle it, but it's kind of toxic to you. Like you spend your whole life hating me. You're Ginsburg in the elevator, and you're like, I hate you. I feel sorry for you. And I look back at you and go, I don't think about you at all. And then the weird cycle of that is, that makes you more mad at me. Best of luck, and I'll see you on the next episode of Steel Toe, I guess. $5 away from calling this thing and doing a little killdozer on tonight's show. Let's go to, there's Redbird with $5. There we go. Redbird with $5 says, you are right about burning at the stake. I was just going to bring that up. You want to see the influence Bonnie Blue is having on the culture? Take a look at this. OnlyFans, Tiffany, Wisconsin, aims to sleep with 5,000 men this summer. I'm making history. Isn't Tiffany, Wisconsin, the one who like tried to get her friend involved in the gangbang thing and like they ripped her asshole apart and she had to go to the hospital? I think that's Tiffany, Wisconsin. Her friend, like, legit got her butthole torn open in one of the gangbangs. Hold on. Tiffany, Wisconsin friend, hospital. Oh, no, Lily. Okay, she's Lily Phillips' friend. Lily Phillips was slammed for her controversial stunt involving 50 men. Her friend, Tiffany, Wisconsin, was left needing surgery. They blew her asshole apart. And she had to go in and get surgery. That's what these OnlyFans hoes are doing to femininity now. Fourth wave feminism. It's going to be a treat, you guys. Fourth wave feminism is now just going to be, let me see how much stuff I can fit in my pussy. That's going to be all it is. Turtle Steel Shell with $1 says, let's fucking go. All right, let's see what Redbird sent us. And then we're going to get to Killdozer. Let me just take this stuff. Let me unpin these messages. Ladies and gentlemen, we have hit the goal. It is another win for the toe.
But I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Redbird with $2 says, look at all 9 questions in the story. Okay, I will do that. And then we've got to get to, some Killdozer coverage tonight. Have you considered changing? Florida teens asked to consider becoming gay in a class assignment. Ugh. At the end of the year, too. Like one of the last days of school, you got to take, should I become a gay guy quiz? All right, here's the 9 questions. They asked children or high school kids this in a Florida school. Dude, you got to be careful with this. DeSantis will throw you in prison for this one. What do you think caused your heterosexuality? God? When and how did you decide you were straight? When I saw girls' boobs and I wanted to squeeze them? Is it possible that being straight is just a phase you may grow out of? Okay, do me a favor. Flip these questions around. Flip these questions around and then tell me if this would be tolerated in any public school. Is it possible that your heterosexuality stems from a neurotic fear of others of the same sex? Yeah, they're dicks. I don't like them. To whom have you disclosed your straight tendencies? See, this is gross. What they're trying to do is be like, see, these are the questions that gay people sometimes get asked. First of all, not really. Number two, all you're doing is you're actually going against the point you're trying to make. And the point you're trying to make is, oh, how would you feel if gay people had to take this quiz? I'll tell you this. If gay people had to take this quiz about being gay, the teacher would be fired before the school day was over. What's the next? Number 6. Why do you insist on showing off your heterosexuality? Well, not so much these days. Number 7, why do straights place so much emphasis on sex? Wait a cotton-picking minute. You're going to tell me that the group of people that make up 2 to 3% of the population are going to tell the 98% of the population that they've got sex on their brain so much? I'm sorry. Straight people didn't fuck so much that 2 lethal diseases got produced out of it. I got to defend my people on this one. We invented safe sex. And we stressed it because of the diseases you guys were getting. Number 8, there seem to be many unhappy heterosexuals. Techniques have been developed that might enable you to change your sexual orientation. Have you considered changing? Nope. 9, considering the menace of hunger and overpopulation, could the human race survive if everyone were straight like yourself? Yeah. I know what wouldn't make the population continue if we all just turned gay. So yeah, that was a questionnaire they gave kids at a Florida high school. All right, well that's beyond fucked up. That's really beyond fucked up. Turtle with $2 says can't use the name K-Dozer on YouTube. Really? I can't just say the phrase Killdozer. That's very, very strange. People are saying they were suspended indefinitely several months ago. Someone says people are getting, I was suspended on X for 12 hours. What'd you do? Why are people all of a sudden dropping like flies over on Twitter? Kraken Slappin says, are you going to the Pride Festival in St. Cloud this weekend? You're not going to believe me, but I didn't even know there was one. Guys, thank you for your generosity. We are over for this week. It is another perfect week of evening shows, and I appreciate you for it. All right, let's do a little... Yeah, you can say Killdozer on YouTube. There's a fucking channel called Killdozer, and he's live right now. He's doing great. Let's go to Marvin Heemeyer. Let's do a little Marvin Heemeyer coverage. We'll watch this tonight. You guys hit the goal. You said you wanted to do this in honor of Killdozer Day. Who am I to stand in your way of an easy Wednesday night? Turtle says you can say it. Can't put the full name in super chats. Oh, okay. So I can say Killdozer. You guys just can't write Killdozer. All right. Marvin Heemeyer. Mr. Killdozer. Let's get into it. If you don't know about this,
a man would set up his business in a small town in Colorado. But when neighboring companies and the town's council turned against him, he would get his revenge in the most imaginative way possible.
Now, I'm going to get a lot of shit for my take on Killdozer because a lot of people see this guy as like, that Beale speech in Network. I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore. They see him as that guy. He's the champion of that. Marvin Heemeyer was also a short-tempered, crazy asshole. People are like, yeah, the government just pushed him. His small town pushed him too far, and he just took actions into his own. Kinda. He was also a fucking lunatic. Two things can be true at the same time.
My name is Adrian, and welcome back to Coffee House Crime.
Jesus Christ, a little Twinkie guy. Is that an adult small?
Have you heard
It's a smedium
of Killdozer? The engineer in me is screaming to cover this case, and so it had to be done. I don't recommend you trying this at home. So pull up a seat, grab a coffee, and sit back. This is the case of Killdozer.
Thank you, Balls Deep, for the 99 cents. Appreciate it.
Vivid landscapes, mountains, forests, and canyons. These are a few of the geographical characteristics used to describe Colorado, one of America's mountain states. And our case today takes us 75 miles northwest of Colorado's capital, Denver, to Grand Lake. Grand Lake is a tiny town with a small population of only 506 residents in 2019. A crowd small enough to pack into an Airbus A380. Back in the 90s, that population was even smaller, 259.
Holy shit. Yeah, population of 259 people back in the 90s. That's like Clear Lake, Minnesota. Clear Lake had about that population back in the 90s. You know, or Darwin, Minnesota now has about, I think, 300 people in it. But like these little towns back in the 90s, you know, no internet, no way to connect immediately. You know, texting wasn't quite a thing yet. Town of 254 people, you could level half the buildings in that town before anybody could get there to stop you.
And one of those residents went by the name of Marvin John Heemeyer. Marvin was born on the 28th of October 1951 in South Dakota, and at the age of 38 he moved to the area of Grand Lake in 1991 for a 6-month vacation. And after realizing how much he loved the place, he decided he would settle in Grand Lake. A middle-aged man approaching his 40s, he was still as free as a bird. No partner and no kids. Marvin was a fun-loving guy who liked to work hard.
You're going to find out how fun-loving old Marvin was in just a little bit. Boy, did he like to take his vehicles for a stroll. He was the John DeLorean of his day.
And play hard. He highly valued friendship and would bend over backwards to help anyone out in their time of need.
If only his town was just as generous.
He was confident, considered handsome, loved the outdoors, and had a knack in engineering.
So he's just like me. See a lot of myself in this guy.
But along with a very ambitious and positive attitude, he was also someone that said things as they were. A man that some would say you should never cross.
Really?
In the year of 1992, Marvin
Prove it!
bought 2 acres of land next to West Meadow Road, located...
You know, there's a lot of people who think back about Marvin Heemeyer in that town, and they're like, I should have told him no when he came to my house and said, you got any sheet metal you ain't using?
In Granby, not far from his home in Grand Lake. He purchased the land from the Resolution Trust Corp for $42,000, which back then was most of his money. And with the space, he planned to open up his very own business.
Nice.
After retiring from the United States Air Force in 1969, Marvin found his true calling as a skilled welder.
Retiring from the air, didn't they say in 1969, didn't they say he was born in 51? So he just did a tour in the Air Force and then called it a day.
With the US Air Force teaching him to take initiative in situations and control his own life, he didn't feel like working for someone else. And so in the year of 1992, he left his job as a mechanic and opened up his own muffler shop on the patch of land that he had just bought. For those first few years, things were going relatively well for Marvin. Not only had his business survived the early stages in life, but on top of that, he was becoming the best-known welder in town.
There you go. You got your muffler business, you're the local town welder, town of 250, 300 people. You got your little niche carved out. It's kind of like an old medieval town. You're like the tanner or the blacksmith, you know? You got your trade, everybody goes to you for it. You got a little monopoly right there in town. How could this get fucked up?
He even expanded his services out into cosmetic repair. But shortly before the year 2000, long shadows started.
In 1998, he added tit and nose jobs to his resume.
Started to cast over Marvin's business. There were reports trickling in that the large patch of unused land next to the muffler shop was being eyed up by the Dotchev family, who wanted to create a concrete batch plant on the land. This was a problem for Marvin.
Well, that's okay, though. Like, that's part of the deal. Like, he buys this little patch of land. Other people can buy and develop the patch of land next to you. That's America.
Not only had he outbid Cody for the land several years prior, which started a feud between the two, But now the concrete plant would cut him off from his own business in multiple ways. For many years, he had used the targeted land as a road to get to his muffler shop, and the proposed cement plant would entirely block that access.
Okay,
Eventually, the Dotcher family got in contact with Marvin. Conversations between the two parties started, were long, and even at times hair-splitting. But at one point, it seemed that everyone had come to an agreement. It was alleged that Cody and Marvin agreed that Marvin would sell his property for $250,000.
Shit! Did you hear? He bought it for $44,000. He's going to sell it for $250,000. You're going to make $200,000. You can go rebuild your muffler shop in another part of town. Now's not the time for pride. You just got it for a markup. Nice job, buddy. Get it, like here, $19.99. How much was, dude, inflation is so bad that there is a bit of a difference. Let's go to the inflation calculator. $200,000 in 1999. $384,000 now. Look at that.
Almost 6 times what he'd paid for back in 1992. However, after agreement, Marvin immediately changed his mind. He upped his price from $250,000 to $375,000.
Marvin, you can't do that. You can't agree on a price. That's called Indian giving, they call that. You agreed on a price. See, I told you. I don't want to split hairs here because everyone sees Killdozer as like a folk hero, but he was kind of a dick. Marvin was kind of an asshole who got in his own way. He made righteous bucks. 6 times the markup for his land. He could go to the other side of town. Everyone's still going to love him as the welder, abortionist, and muffler guy. Crunchy with $5 says, how dare you compare your goofy ass to Killdozer? And Coffeehouse Fag is soothing. I love him. First time I've heard someone call someone the gay F word and go, love him, he's great.
Cody agreed. But after that agreement, Marvin once again upped his price to $1 million. Communication broke down and eventually fell silent. And then, in 2001, after more bureaucracy...
Whoa, go back a sec. I don't remember that part. Did they just say he asked for $1 million?
Cody agreed. But after that agreement, Marvin once again upped his price to $1 million.
What the... All right, fuck Marvin and his ass. He asked for $250,000, they said yes. Then he asked for $384,000, they said yes. Then he said $1 million. Fuck Marvin, he's being a dick.
Communication broke down and eventually fell silent. And then, in 2001, after more bureaucracy, both the zoning commission and the town's trustees approved the construction of the cement manufacturing plant.
That, you know what? The city can't hold it up for much longer. These people, they bought the land. They have a right to build their business on that land. It's theirs. You know, if you're being like, civil liberties about this, they offered a more than fair price. They agreed to a more than fair price with Marvin, and he was a fucking douchebag about it. If anybody should have been getting the Killdozer ready, it should have been these concrete people.
Marvin's consent. Marvin was furious. He hadn't yet settled on an agreement with the Dot Chefs, and now in a matter of weeks, he would have no access to his own business either.
Okay, but you fucked that up, not them. They tried to make a deal with you. For what was it? 308. Let's do the inflation numbers on that one. 308. How much? So take away the 40. 300. He would have cleared $340,000 on that deal. So 340. 1, 2, 3. Compute. $650,000 in today's money. God damn, Marvin, you done fucked up. Also, how shitty is our monetary policy that in 25 years that money is like almost double?
He appealed the town's decision, pumping as much as $150,000 into his efforts with an attorney.
You could have had $380 free and clear. Now you're spending $100, Marvin. I'm sorry, guys, but Killdozer, I can't get his back the way you do. It feels childish.
But despite this, he was unsuccessful. He even tried petitioning the problem to friends and residents of the town. But just like his appeal before, no dice. And Marvin's luck was only going to get worse. At first, he tried to play fair by petitioning the construction of a new road leading to his business around the concrete factory.
Okay.
He had even bought himself a bulldozer so he could do all of this work himself. This, however, was formally rejected by the Granby government.
Well, yeah, I mean, find me a city that's just going to let a guy build a road. Like, it usually doesn't happen.
He now had no way to get to his property. To rub salt in the wounds, only days later, the Granby government fined Marvin over $2,500 for what they quoted as various violations. This included keeping junk cars on the property, which was part of his business, and also not being hooked up to the sewer line. And this was
okay. All right. Now wait a minute. Again, Aaron the Fed, get ready to hate me. I'm gonna be Killjoy on Killdozer. If you're running a muffler and welding shop, you've got to be hooked up to the sewer lines. I mean, Jesus, you got to be hooked up to drains and shit like that when you're working on cars and all the fluids and oh boy. I'm sorry. Like I said, guys, when you dig into Killdozer's story, look, I know the end result was like, wow, look at this fucking guy. Isn't that crazy? But really, at the end of it, it's a delusional asshole who fucked himself over at every turn and denied himself a grip of money.
Also, despite the government previously cutting off his utilities to make way for...
You know what? You can celebrate Killdozer Day, but I'm going to, I'll use the kids' lingo. Marvin Heemeyer fumbled the bag, dog.
For the construction of the concrete plant. And as for the sewage line, now Marvin would have to ask Cody for permission to run a pipe underneath the concrete plant. Something that Cody was sure to decline.
You know what you could have done? You could have built that sewer line before the concrete people came along. Or sold your land, moved somewhere else in town.
Marvin was in despair. To put the situation bluntly, he had been shafted. Not only by the new company, but by his local council too.
Not really.
Mentally, he was at the end of his rope, and his business, along with all the money he had invested into it, was about to go bust. One night on his balcony, through desperation, Marvin then created a cunning plan. One that would, however, have to remain top secret.
Created a cunning plan. Now, what he's about to create is the Killdozer. I don't know how cunning that is.
He began leasing his workshop to a trash company, and several months
later... Look at it! Right there! Look! Look! Right there! You see, he needs to get from here to where his new shop would be. Right down the road like that. Perfect. Or you could set up a little shop. Looks like we got a plot over here. We got a plot over here. We got some shit over here. We got options here, Marvin.
Later, ended up selling the property altogether for $400,000. During this time in 2003, the new owners gave Marvin several months to leave. And it was during those months that he began working on his top secret project. The bulldozer that Marvin had just bought about a year and a half ago to assist in the cooperation with his council and new neighbours was doing nothing but gathering dust. Not just that, but it just about fit into his garage too. By an inch, in fact.
British people, the way British people say garage will always infuriate me. Crunchy with $10 says, have you guys ever tried getting married again and not building anything because you can't change a tire? Yeah, I built plenty of stuff and I can change a tire just fine. The marriage thing didn't work out so hot. But everything else, you're wrong.
Marvin saw this as a sign from God. Despite trying to get rid of both his building and his bulldozer, he had both. So what did that mean? To quote Marvin during his time of despair,
I hope that the people of Granby learn that the way you punished me over the years that I was down there and how you punished me, for the most part, turned me into a desperate man.
You just had to put your hands behind your back and let these people put a $380,000 check in your pocket.
And desperate men do desperate things.
Yeah, we got it.
To recover, a lot of times.
Is he going to say, with great power comes great responsibility, too? Let's do that. I am Iron Man.
Marvin's secret plans took about a year and a half to prepare. He spent all of 2003 through to mid-2004 modifying his Komatsu bulldozer into a fully armoured vehicle of power and destruction. He even set up a temporary home in his workshop to cover his basic needs. He would sleep in the day and worked in the night, not to disturb his concrete-loving neighbours. And while he worked, he secluded himself, ruminating on his unfortunate events and
That's always great. A guy who feels down on his luck and treated poorly by everyone in his town, just holding giant rounds of ammunition. That's fantastic.
scheming of ways to get back at his enemies. He even recorded his hatred for them all.
Oh.
And on
Just
June
healthy.
4th, 2004, those plans would finally be realized.
All right, we're going to get to that part in just a second. I just want to go into the chat real quick on Rumble and see if I got to get to anything. And I do. Let's go up here. We got Hulkamasha Baby with $1. Says the only engineering you do is deconstructing cake. That's hateful. That's a hate crime. Numero uno Josh Denny fan with $1 says name 3 things you've built. A cedar fence. Fuck, I thought this was going to be a lot easier. I stained a deck. I got to do it again this year. That doesn't really count as building anything. I have built a cedar fence on my own. Well, I mean, I had help, but I did it. I built my own cedar fence in my first home. Fuck, this is not good, guys. I built stuff. Cedar fence. I mean, when I was in school, I made a bird feeder. That was pretty rad. I made a paper mache bowl. Oh, I made a ceramic coffee cup. Suck my dick. That's like 4 things. Another win for the toe. Helgi with $2 says, play that back. Those are Tom Petty lyrics. Oh, shit. Well, I'm too late. My Lost Interest says, a radio empire. That's right. I built a radio empire. Trampling at the Zoo says, built a turd after 5 rounds at the buffet. I fixed a water heater, but that's not really building something. Numero uno Josh Denny fan with $1 says, you were worried Sam Cedar was going to get in. Who are you? Crowder? Worried Sam Cedar was going to get in? No, I'm worried about, who's your boy? Bob. Fuck, I forgot his name already. I'm really sorry, numero uno. Hobo Chili with $2 says, Crunchy, get fucked, you drunk. I hope the next bottle of Thunderbird causes you catastrophic failure to your body. Wow. Crunchy, Hobo hates you so much he gave me money. Oh, a cedar fence. Oh, I'm trying to keep Sam Cedar away. Holy shit, numero uno, that was bad. Vidam with $5 says, Aaron, how's the radio talks going? We updated you on that last week or 2 weeks ago. How close are we to closing the deal? And what is the start date of our return to radio? Oh, I don't have a fucking start date yet. But we are moving the ball forward, and I'm very excited about it. Dusty Road says, how many toolboxes do you have, if you will? At least 2. At least 2 toolboxes. Chevrolet JB with $1 says, hey, Aaron, if you see a Poet ethanol plant, I built some of that. Hey, good for you, buddy. Good for you. We're way over tonight. Thank you guys very much. All right, let's get into part 2 of Killdozer, as you guys are very active tonight. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your generosity. All right, let's go back into our little British twink here and his coverage of the Killdozer, Marvin Heemeyer, who, again, everybody loves him. I'm taking a very brave stance, saying that this guy's kind of a stupid asshole.
Marvin started his rampage.
Always nice when you're driving your death machine and you honk the horn to let people know. That's really good.
By smashing through the wall of his very own business and driving his abomination bulldozer directly across his land into his rival's concrete plant. And there, as Cody and his workers watched in shock and awe, he destroyed 2 of their buildings before slowly trundling down the highway.
So as you can see, he's outfitted this thing with a shitload of metal. He's tried to make it bulletproof, just tried to make it this slow-moving machine of death to get back at this entire city that he feels has wronged him. And again, he spent 1.5 years making this thing. Never in that year and a half did he go, holy shit, I'm fucking insane. And then stop. He saw the whole thing through. If only he would have had this business acumen and taken the fucking buyout deal.
By now, police were already hot on his tail, firing multiple shotgun and M4 rounds at the Killdozer.
M4
but this
rounds.
was to no avail. He smashed into Mountain Park's electric, destroying its front facade. Maple Street builders were next, and when the building was compared next to his machine of destruction, it didn't stand a chance. Once he'd muscled his bulldozer through their front, Marvin redirected his machine. By now, 911 calls were flurrying in, and additional cops coming in to fight.
It looks like, you know the footage, the old black and white footage you see of like the first tanks during World War I? It's like, it looks and moves like that.
Bulldozer wouldn't have to look hard for him either, because he was headed straight for their headquarters. And soon, SWAT teams were on his tail too. In a matter of minutes, both the town hall and the police station of Granby were obliterated. And despite the enormous damage inflicted to both buildings, just like all incidents before, no one was harmed or killed. Liberty Savings Bank was next on the list.
All right, now we've got to shoot him. He's taking out the banks. When is this madness going to end?
And soon after Liberty Bank, Sky High News got it too.
Up the news. Goddamn
residents
fake
in
news
the area
media.
were evacuated. And in a state of full-on emergency, police and SWAT made every effort.
Like, I'm sorry, somebody is going to have to explain to me how these poor innocent people were anything but victims of a psychopath. Nobody did him wrong. They made every overture to this guy to get him to just take a shitload of money and move somewhere. Hey, Marvin, how about 250 grand? All right, sounds good to me. Cool, great. Wait, how about 350? All right, Marvin, that sounds cool. Okay, awesome. Hey, will you give me $1 million? What? No, it's not even worth the 350 we're giving you. We just want you to be able to set up somewhere else. You just made an enemy for life.
To disable the Killdozer. But resistance was futile. In places, the bulldozer's armor was over 1 foot thick and had concrete sandwiched between thick layers of tall steel.
Well, then you know what you need to do with all that concrete. You need to bring in an Asian guy who knows karate, and he can just hi-ya right through it.
To disable Marvin's cameras with gunfire failed too. Police bullets were unable to penetrate its 3-inch bulletproof plastic. Marvin had even lined a tank of compressed air to various outlets near the cameras to clear them from any dust and debris. Killdozer had also been equipped with 3 gun ports, including a Ruger Mini 14, an FN-FNC, and a Barrett M82. All 3 were used against police, SWAT, and even Cody, but luckily, no one was hit. Killdozer then detoured down a dirt road and attempted to cause serious destruction to the area by taking out a pile of propane tanks.
Oh, shit. Yeah, we got to get this guy. The whole fucking town's gonna blow.
He fired several rounds at the tanks, but luckily...
So was he trying to blow himself up, or was he trying to just blow the tanks? Like, was he trying to get in there and just call it a day?
The skilled engineer Marvin Heemeyer made a design mistake. The port's design tolerances which allowed his gun to peek out from the steel armor was too small, meaning that when firing his gun at an angle, his rounds would actually fire into his own armor, stopping the bullets from hitting the propane tank and causing chaos.
Marvin!
Defeated in his
now you look like an asshole again.
He drove back up the hill towards copycat printing. A man operating a scraper machine stepped up to the challenge in a 1v1. But as Killdozer rampaged towards him, he chickened out.
It's kind of like the old show Battle Bots.
Eventually getting shunted out of the way by Marvin.
Uh-oh.
It was during his annihilation of the copycat printing company that Killdozer's antifreeze lines blew, and his machine started to smoke.
Uh-oh.
No worries, he thought. He continued to punch into the newspaper company that had allegedly reported against him and ridiculed him numerous times. Gambles was next, but by the time he had started digging into the building's side, a construction worker in a front loader had caught up with Marvin and blocked his only exit out.
Oh, shit.
Killdozer's power slowly begins to fail at this point, and with his rear blocked, Marvin has no choice but to carry on forwards. And to his misfortune, the building he's currently destroying also has a basement. When the ceiling caved in, the floor to the basement did too, leaving one of Killdozer's tracks suspended in midair. The Killdozer is now entirely immobilized. With steering no longer possible for Marvin's Killdozer, it's the end of the road for him. For the last year and a half, Marvin had been trying to get his revenge, and now, as far as he could tell, he had got exactly just that. His livelihood was lost months ago, and now, with all this destruction around him, he'd have nothing but prison to look forward to in the future. And so on that note, Marvin pulled out his trusted pistol, put it into his mouth, and ended his own life.
Oh, and that was the end of Killdozer. Now, we're going to wrap this up in just a little bit. I got a lot of super chats and stuff to get through here. We're going to go right back to Killdozer in just a second. First, Red Fox Mad with $4.99 says, how much money to have Crunchy co-host some morning shows? Crunchy would be an awesome co-host. I think Crunchy should co-host evening shows. I'll come up with a number for you. For Crunchy to do a week of morning shows, $600. That would be the number. Redbird with $5 says the city would have had him broke and homeless before they stopped. No, he just had to take the $350,000. That was it. He had the handshake. They had the deal. He fucked it up. $5 says Redbird. No, they screwed him big time and persecuted him for years before he snapped. I'm saying all he had to do was take the money. Redbird with $5 says there is a reason he is called the reasonable man forced to do unreasonable things. Yeah, I believe in the Liberty Valance effect. When the legend becomes fact, print the legend. Crunchy Cynicism with $10 says, Aaron, he died. There was no way out. He committed. That guy mattered because he went out in the Killdozer knowing what would happen, and he didn't care. It's not BattleBot. But I didn't think it was literally BattleBots. I'm just saying that people act like Killdozer had no choice. Oh, he was forced to do this. No, the consequences of his own actions partially led him to this point. Yes, the city did what a shitty city does. They fucked him over. But long before the city fucked him over, there was a way out. By the way, Redbird and Crunchy both at 70. Now, Redbird is at 75. He's going to push Gray Duckling out of the top 5. So we got Redbird. Let's go Redbird at $75 now in 4th place. Thank you. Well, never mind. Crunchy is now at 80, and now Crunchy is in 4th place. Give me 1 second here. You guys are way, way over tonight. Thank you for your generosity. Crunchy with $80. 10 from Crunchy says, you don't have to pay me because I'm me, but I have a job like Matt, and Pot Awful has been calling my employer. I think it's Citizen M, but I can't prove it. Pot Awful, Jesse would never do that. That's definitely Citizen M being a fucking cunt. Citizen M tries to dox donors of this show because he's mad that I guess we keep going. He's got problems. He got mental problems, that Citizen M. Hulkamasha Baby with $1 says, you built 2 marriages, but your engineering skills were a little subpar. Maybe you shouldn't have contracted out the sex. That is not bad. That is not bad. That was not a bad one. Jesus. Hey, Pool Scam Sam, we get it. I'm a loser. I suck. I'm terrible. I'm sorry that I've ruined your life or whatever the fuck I've done. Take it easy, buddy. Happy trails. Oh, man. Every time with him, it's the same thing. You suck. You're terrible. You suck. You're terrible. You know the thing I say about spurging and spamming the chat? Sorry, Pool Scam. A lot of people wanted you gone a long time ago. I hung in there because you kind of stopped spurging, but then it was like, Daddy, pay attention to me. Daddy, pay attention to me. And then I guess I'm sorry I didn't. I apologize, pal. I'm really sorry. Let's go to... Yeah, Sam Show says, that sounds like an M thing to do. Yeah, bigot on socialist media, Citizen M. I don't do gay ops. Citizen M, I think he's one of those guys who doesn't know that he's lying. I think he convinces himself in his head. Chevrolet JB with $1 says, can't wait till St. Cloud makes streamers pay commercial tax rate on residential property. Then he will know how to killdozer. Okay, somebody's going to have to get me past him turning down the $350,000 and fucking around with the numbers. Like, he accepted the deals and then he took them away. Hey, Cholino, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. So I know it's fashionable to love Killdozer, but he's kind of an ape. That's all. All right, let's finish up. We're at the end of the road. Killdozer has blown his head off after fucking with the city.
It would take police, along with the assistance of several specialist teams and a cutting torch, over 7 hours to get into the interior of Killdozer. Over 400 bullets, several explosives, and several flashbangs had been used in an attempt to stop the machine. But none of them achieved any recognizable damage. And when they finally got inside of the bulldozer, there they found the body of Marvin Heemeyer. Once the Killdozer's roof was opened, along with Marvin, a video camera and 3 monitors were discovered. All were used to guide Marvin as a pilot through his rampage.
That is the one badass thing about Killdozer, is he had cameras and monitors and everything so he could drive the fucking thing without sticking his head out. That was kind of cool.
They also found his weapons, a bottle of sparkling water, and a fan to keep him cool.
That's important.
Marvin knew that once he tipped the Killdozer's lid shut, he wasn't getting out of there alive. And so he made his final journey as cool and comfortable as possible. Despite the enormous amount of damage inflicted to a total of 13 buildings, miraculously, no one besides Marvin was actually harmed or killed.
Which is good. We're all happy about
Inside
that.
the remains of his ruined muffler shop, police would soon find his audio tapes inside his makeshift home. Those tapes describing the reasoning behind the Killdozer and his actions. In one of his tapes, he shared,
because of your anger, because of your malice, because of your hate, you would not work with me. So now, I believe that I have to leave this world with a debt so great to you it can never be repaid.
Well, look, I understand that. The part where the city wouldn't let him build his own private road or whatever to get to his muffler shop, I get where he was upset there. I totally understand that. But Marvin Heemeyer was a really dumb businessman. You know, and while that shouldn't be a death sentence, it's like this idea that, you know, poor Marvin was just sitting there one day and all of a sudden everyone started fucking with him. Like, those people had a right to buy the land that wasn't his and build their concrete business. They had a right to do that. And they tried to buy him out, and he agreed twice, and he reneged on the deal. Yeah, the city fucked him over, but that concrete business didn't deserve that. They tried to make it work for this guy.
Anyway, hey, I hope you all have a great time and a good life. I've had a great life, and I'm going to put this tape recorder in a plastic bag, and somebody else can try to figure it out. We'll see you later.
And that was it.
Although the town had mixed feelings after the day that Killdozer tore Granby apart, it did spur a new feeling of closeness in the community. Residents organised fundraisers to help rebuild the properties that he'd damaged. And with a final bill of over $7 million, they were going to need a few of those. Locals also suggested turning Marvin's bulldozer into a tourist attraction.
This is fucking bananas. What they ended up doing with the Killdozer shows you, like, kind of how afraid any kind of government is of people going apeshit and off the reservation.
To help pay for his damage. However, this was never seriously considered, and ultimately, his Killdozer was completely destroyed. And shortly after, Marvin's ashes were spread up in the mountains of Colorado by his friends, all of them who loved to snowmobile with him in his former years. To this day, opinions are still split right down the middle on Marvin as a character. Was he a good man trying to prove a valid point, or was he deluded? Either way,
both. I think he was both. Like, he did harm the property of innocent people who didn't do anything to him. Like, it's a fucking asshole move. I don't care who you are. I don't care how bad other people treat you. You know, like that guy who ran the hardware store or whatever the fuck that was, he didn't deserve all that damage. He was a small business owner just trying to get by. I'm not going to say Marvin is totally 1,000% in the wrong, but to act like he didn't treat some people like shit and fuck them over is missing the forest for the trees. I get it. He's like a Robin Hood story. Like, everyone wants to love the anti-hero and the rebel. Like, I understand that. I get it. But, like, there's a lot of gray area with Marvin. Tridio, who I respect very much, with $5 says, did you miss the part where he tried to buy that land for years and they sold it out from under him for less than he offered? Yes, I did catch that part, and that really sucks. That's part of the reason why I understand why he was so pissed off. However, all I've said is Marvin was not without recourse. Marvin had outs. Marvin was too proud to take them. Redbird with $5 says they signed paperwork and took his money to build the road, then pretended it never happened. Well, that's disputed. Now in this, they say, no, they said they never gave him the authority to build the road. Redbird with $5 says it would be like the radio station using local laws to strong arm you into selling your accounts and brand for less than 1/3 of the true value. Another $5 from Redbird. He said it was worth over $1 million when they screwed him on zoning so they could steal it. The $385 would have been more than enough for him to rebuild. By the way, that does put Redbird back on. It actually puts him in 3rd place. Nice job, Redbird. Redbird is now in 3rd at $95 for Redbird this week. Miss Tay is currently in 4th at 80. Crunchy is tied for 4th with $80. Thank you, everybody. I do think the Killdozer thing, I think that is a lot more debated than people think. It's not a unanimous deal.
Whether you see Marvin as a villain with an evil machine, or as a man who stuck it to the greedy corporations and government of Grand Lake, he certainly
a town of 250 people. It ain't like he's fighting BlackRock.
Held on to his word as a man that you should never...
You know who I see him as? I see him as like Dutch Vanderland or Arthur Morgan. He's got traits that are admirable, but the way he went about doing some shit was kind of fucked up.
Cross. And if you find yourself in a similar situation in the future, whatever you think the solution may be, the correct answer is not a bulldozer.
I would agree.
Thank you so much for watching another video today by Coffee House Crime. If you found this video interesting, or if you learned something new today, then please remember to like the video and subscribe.
All right, there you go. What is that? Coffee House. Let's do the channel on that one. Coffee House Crime. Go subscribe to that. That actually looks really interesting. And now that's going to be in my algorithm now. Throw them a like. I got to throw them a like. There you go. You guys throw me a like, too. I appreciate that. Redbird with $2 says every location damaged was someone else who screwed him. Let's put an asterisk next to that. Everyone who was taken out by Killdozer was someone who he believed had screwed him over. I think that would be a better way to put it. Chelino says, I have a soft spot for Aaron. Oh, God damn it. You're going to make me cry. I appreciate that. Root says, in this, what the fuck is this? Some British gay F word with no idea how an American's brain operates? Jesus, Aaron, you're gay. He wanted to give you a different perspective. I think Hobo Chili Recipe might be running out of steam tonight. He writes, I wish Aaron had a soft spot in his skull. I would press on it. There's no real creativity on that one. He just kind of went right for it. 09 Canyon says, take the shafting with a smile, right, Aaron? Fuck that. Take it all down with you. Well, I mean, be my guest. Hobo says, listen, you limey redcoat, tea and crumpet, Mary Poppins chimney sweep motherfucker. Don't speak on American issues from across the pond. Atomic Ray says, no, Toe, you are fucking wrong. When you find out that the people who found you, are lowballing you for your life savings, you get mad. I didn't say the guy couldn't get mad. I just said you don't take a fucking retrofitted bulldozer and smash it through a shitload of businesses. The guys on 9/11 were mad. They were pissed off that we were in their countries, bombing their people, fucking around, supporting Israel, manipulating and overthrowing governments. They were pissed. Probably not okay to hijack jetliners and crash them into the World Trade Center. Yankee says there are many documentaries on this, all with a little different take. People are mad that I picked the British guy. I liked him. I thought he did a good job. Nomo says, now I feel like making a video essay on some douchey UK urban lore. Jack the Ripper, get after it. Go ahead. Canyon, we are getting hammered on the 26th. I'm in love with you too. Hobo can kick rocks. Oh, shit. I don't want to see a lover's quarrel. God damn it. Chevrolet JB says, if you can't stand for something, you'll fall for everything. Well, none of those buildings stood for anything, apparently. MSO says, are you going till midnight? No, we're wrapping up. We're doing Killdozer, and we're calling it a night. You guys were great, by the way. We barely had a goal tonight, and you kept her going long after. I think we would have knocked out. I think we were like over by like $80-90. I should put that towards next Monday night, I believe. Should I give it to the morning people? I'm just kidding. I am so fucking kidding. Red Fox Mad with $4.99 says, who got his muffler shop and land after his death? Hopefully his family got to keep it. Hopefully. My Lost Interest says, Aaron's uncle said 9/11 was an inside job. Planes didn't take it down. Oh, on tomorrow's morning show, we're going to find out that there were actually 5 planes on 9/11. I hope you're ready for that one. There were, this dude, TMZ, like Harvey Levin's reporting it. If a Jewish guy's reporting it, it's got to be partially true. He probably got it from his government contacts, for God's sake. I know, but yeah, I'm glad we got to celebrate the Killdozer guy today. 09 Canyon says, Roots, keep talking dirty to me. It's getting I really should go. It's getting so gay. So gay. Sam Show says, they're talking about boxing on Kino Casino. I hope the segment ends before you get to it. I saw Kino Casino and Ethan Klein were both reporting that iDubbbz's wife was like either had a crush on or was fucking one of his sparring partners for Creator Clash. That iDubbbz, man. That's a litany of bad decisions. A litany of bad decisions on that boy. Hey, guys, throw us a like, throw us a follow, throw us a subscribe. We're going to get out of here for the night. What a fine show, and what a great spot to end it on. You guys have been incredible, and we saw the rare hobo chili recipe donation tonight. Holy shit. I will talk to you guys very soon. I got to get out of here because 09 Canyon and Roots are making me remarkably uncomfortable. Have a great rest of your night. See you soon.